Infinite projection room begins with the projection of Ultron's world destruction. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 901, Nightmare Batman, the Destroyer. He was dragged into the nightmare by Barbatus 7 days ago, and then experienced countless dream reincarnations. In every dream, he was fighting against Barbatus, but he tried everything, made friends with gods and villains, but every time, he failed. Diana was the same. During the 7 days, she also fought against Barbatus' nightmare reincarnation in her dreams. Thanks to her full magic resistance, she was able to break free. At this moment, Metropolis has become a living hell. Black currents flowed over the city of Metropolis. A high tower made of mucus and flesh stood in the center of the city, with countless humans hanging on it. This is a power tower that continuously produces nightmare lightning. Humans were hung on the tower, and they all fell into nightmares, and painful groans resounded through the sky. These humans were used as batteries to charge the dark energy until the moment they were completely drained. On the street, hideous monsters were walking around. Among them were Superman's wife Lois and his best friend Jimmy. They were all infected with a virus called Doomsday. Seeing this scene, everyone was stunned. Peter thought that what he had experienced when facing the snake was the end of the world, but the scene in front of him told him that what he had experienced was like heaven compared to this moment. Janitor was even scared to tears. Yes, crying. Everyone had different ideas about what the end of the world should be like. But when they saw the Metropolis at this moment, they suddenly found that the end of the world in their hearts was not even 1/10,000th of this place. Barbatus, who is it? Bruce's teeth were chattering, and his body was shaking. Was it fear? Was it anger? No one could tell. Where is Barbatus? Superman roared. Although he faced endless torture, the justice in his heart was still not wiped out. The world still needs him. Gotham. As soon as Wonder Woman said the word Gotham, Superman flew over immediately. Anger had overcome his reason, and he wanted to kill Barbatus with his own hands. Huge dark clouds surrounded the human flesh tower, and the tower was full of human batteries. Black lightning swam wantonly in the dark clouds. On the top of the tower, a being wearing a bat cape was waiting for Superman. There were several giant snakes around him. The faces of these giant snakes looked very much like humans, with green hair, red eyes, pale faces, and cracked mouths that seemed to be laughing. He quietly looked at the flying Superman. In his eyes, Superman's flying speed that reached the speed of light was no different from that of a snail. He was the god of darkness, Barbatus. A voice appeared in Cloud City, and that voice shouted, "Superman. Bruce." Superman was ecstatic. This was the voice of his good friend, the think tank of the Justice League, the strongest human Batman, Bruce Wayne. Superman was glad that his old friend showed up in time, and he shouted loudly, "Bruce, let's go together." The devastating shockwave spread in the clouds, and even the dark cloud was shaken open by this punch. A vacuum zone. Superman was shot down from the sky, and it was Bruce who shot him down. But it was not the Bruce that Superman was familiar with. He was Batman, but not the Batman of this universe. He was Nightmare Batman, a member of the Dark Knights. He was Nightmare Bat Devastator. The fist that hit Superman's face was extremely thick, and it was covered with bone spurs. Bruce's appearance could still be seen on the other's face, but this voice, appearance, and smile looked like a powerful enemy that Superman would have to fight to the death to defeat. Doomsday. What will happen when Batman, the strongest human on Earth, merges with the power of Doomsday? Nightmare Batman, the Destroyer chapter on air. I've killed one of you. Now, I don't mind having a second one. The wind swept, and the red laser cut Wonder Woman Diana in half. This is the last one. This is another universe where Superman killed all life. No one knows why Superman, who hates crime, becomes an executioner, a butcher, and kills his companions. Listen, Clark, I know that you must still have kindness in your heart. Batman got up with difficulty. One of his arms was cut off by Superman's heat ray. He did not give up persuading Superman. He believed that his old friend and his family must still have the shadow of the kind farm boy Clark in the past in their hearts. Not only Bruce is doing this, but also his wife Louise. Then Louise died, split in two by Superman's heat ray. Seeing this, Batman knew that Clark was dead, and now this guy was just a demon with superhuman strength. Batman picked up the kryptonite spear with his remaining arm, and then his remaining arm was also broken by the heat ray. I know that the other members of the Justice League always discuss in private who will win if we fight. Then they always say that you will win. Superman looked at the mortal on the ground coldly, and he said with contempt, I really can't understand why they have such stupid ideas. I just need to look at you, and you will be reduced to ashes. I just need to push you lightly, and you will have a powder fracture. Mortals, dare to challenge God. I'm a cold-blooded person. I don't care about the crimes of those stupid clowns, nor do I care about the lives of those Ant-like civilians. For many years, I have been pretending, and you believe it. Everyone believes that I'm a kind hero. It's ridiculous. I've had enough fun. It's time to end it. Superman looked at Batman lying on the ground, and fired a heat ray. Unlike the expected heat ray that turned Batman into ashes, this time the heat ray fell on Batman, and made no progress. Superman was stunned. He increased the power of the heat ray, but the result was still the same. Is it your ridiculous toy again? Superman walked over, ready to know the other's life with his own hands. He mentioned Batman, and saw a hideous and terrifying face under Batman's mask. What? A pair of thick arms tightly grabbed Superman's arms, and the scowled eyes frightened Superman, who claimed to be cold-blooded and ruthless. Tell me, can you bleed? Nightmare Batman, The Destroyer is Born. Chapter 902, End Metal. The huge fist knocked Superman away, and he bled. The god on Earth bled, and the one who hurt him was the devil from hell, descended on Earth. Now, the devil wants to kill the god. Batman's original arms were cut off, but how could Batman, who had 10,000 plans, not consider what to do after his arms and even his limbs were cut off? He used the special controller to activate the ultimate weapon he carried with him, the Doomsday Virus. The effect of this virus is very simple, that is, to turn the injected person into Doomsday. Then, destroy everything. Batman, no, now he is the Destroyer. The Destroyer flashed to Superman's side in an instant, smashed Superman's head hard to the ground, and then roared at him with a stream of green krypton gas. Tell me, Clark. Now, who is the weak one? The krypton gas paralyzed Superman's body, and a bone spur pierced Superman's heart. Superman died, just like that. Bruce, who killed him, did not feel a trace of sadness, but only full of anger. He regretted why he did not spread the Doomsday Virus in advance. Even if it produced a few more monsters, it would be better than letting the world completely become a hell without people. The Destroyer vented madly, and finally the Earth was destroyed in his anger. A black shadow came to the Destroyer. The Destroyer thought it was the Joker, but it was not. The Black Shadow told the Destroyer the whole story, and invited the Destroyer to join his knights. In another universe, there is another Superman. So the Destroyer came to this world. The Doomsday monsters on the streets before were the result of infection by the Doomsday Virus he spread. He killed countless superheroes and finally seized the cosmic tuning fork in the Arctic. I will never become like that. You, please believe me. Clark was about to cry anxiously. He couldn't believe that one of his isotopes was such a madman. Of course we believe you, Bruce. Diana said, before the story of the Devastator, we also saw you saving the world, didn't we? But the Black Shadow, I'm afraid, that was also Bruce. Master Alfred was heartbroken when he heard this. Although his energy was now focused on Isabella, his love for Bruce remained the same. Compared to the Devastator who was forced by Superman to inject the Doomsday Virus, Alfred's intuition told him that the Black Shadow was not only Bruce, but also the Bruce who made him feel more distressed. Cinema. What kind of monster is that? That's me. Bruce Wayne said, the Devastator and the Black Shadow are all me. They are all my dark side. If you can understand it better this way. Everyone's eyes were focused on Bruce. They knew that this time it was Bruce's story, and it was a story that was extremely dark. What did this man do to bear such a fate? The video continues. The Destroyer beats Superman with one punch after another. He roars in a low voice, Clark, For the sake of our past friendship, I can let you choose to die with your eyes open or closed. The Black Shadow, that appeared earlier, also said with interest, did you know, Clark, everything that happened in our world was created by you. When you have new fear and hope for something, a new world will be born. So, each of us is a nightmare born from the greatest fear in Bruce's heart in this world. He is worried that Aquaman will destroy the world. He is afraid that Alfred will be retaliated by the villain. He wants to save his parents' lives. He wants to save Gotham one step faster. He is afraid of your power, so the Destroyer was born. He is afraid of losing Wonder Woman, and he also. Every one of us has killed you, but there is a question that even I can't figure out. Killing you, is it Bruce's fear of you, or his deepest expectation in his heart? Superman was defeated, and completely defeated by the Destroyer. The next second, a golden light flashed by. It was the Flash. The Flash rescued Superman. Otherwise, the world would lose the Man of Steel forever. This is the Forgotten Bar, the only safe place in the universe now. Wonder Woman, the Flash, the Green Lantern and other superheroes took refuge here. People were all dejected, and Aquaman was beaten into autism. Barbatus and his dark bats are too strong. Detroit and Midtown Cyborg were attacked by them in the Watchtower, and now there is no news. In the outside world, towers of flesh and blood were built. Just when everyone was dejected, the Green Arrow stuck an arrow on the table. In the last Gotham Resistance, that Nightwing and I formed, this arrow successfully injured the Dark Bat. This is N-Metal, the most powerful metal in the universe. Dr. Fate said, although N-Metal is scarce, we have gathered most of the N-Metal in this universe here. N-Metal. Dark metal. If darkness refers to Barbatus and his nightmare Batman, then this N-Metal must be the key to defeating them. The depressing atmosphere was finally relieved, and they seemed to see hope. What is despair? Even when Darkseid was resurrected, there was a giant of light, and the despair of that world could only be compared to when the ruler of darkness sealed Tigger. Image continues. My helmet, Steel Man's hammer and Plastic Man's egg can all receive the N-Metal coordinates of other universes. Dr. Fate said, we can collect more N-Metal. At this moment, the egg was vibrating, and Mr. Excellence discovered a new coordinate by analyzing the vibration frequency of the egg. Deep space, Atlantis, and the Rock of Eternity. Mr. Excellence analyzed, but that's not all. There is also a strong coordinate, but this coordinate points to a non-existent darkness. I know. Superman's superbrain finally started to work because of the offline of his external brain Batman. He said, the darkness must be the dark multiverse, the negative side of our universe. Everything will move towards a twisted world of darkness and destruction, and the one who sent the coordinate must be Bruce. Batman is sending me a signal. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 903, Rescue Batman. Are there so many superheroes in your world? Looking at the screen that had a bar full of superheroes, Bruce calmly replied to the question, obviously, that's not my world. In my world, so far, only the few people you saw in the Justice League have appeared. Is it the same as the 1616 universe? Tony said, in the multiverse vibrations caused by the Morlun family, we saw Spider-Man from different universes. In the autobiography of a guy from the 1616 universe, the number of superheroes in their universe is equally incredible. There are at least thousands of superheroes recorded in the small city of New York. And the universe where this story takes place is very likely to be the same as the 1616 universe, a world with a huge number of superheroes. Image continues, in the dream, Bruce has been giving me secret codes. That's what we three agreed on. If one of us is in danger, we can send the initials of the other two. If I'm in danger, send Diana's D and Bruce's B. And in that dream, Bruce said to enjoy the present moment. Kappa Deem C and D, my C and Diana's D. This is Bruce's code for help. But we only have 3 pieces of nth metal. There is no 4th piece that can allow us to rescue Batman. I heard someone is recruiting. A low voice sounded, and a mercenary in tights walked in. This job is profitable, right? By the way, Deathstroke's armor and sword are also made of nth metal. Now is not the time to reminisce. I found this on the way. Deathstroke threw the head of a weirdo with green hair, pale complexion, and most importantly, a crazy laugh on his face even after his head was chopped off, on the table. That group of lunatics, they are here. Time is running out. Let's split up and act. You go. The Dark Master took a sip of wine and said, Bobo and I will stay here. This is my bar, the place where I performed for the first time, and the place where I entertain heroes from all over the universe. I will not let those lunatics occupy this place. Never. The Dark Master picked up the shadow sword that had been sealed for many years, for his belief, for the hope of this universe. Dr. Fate didn't say much. He immediately divided the heroes into 4 teams and cast a spell to teleport everyone away. 2 monsters that looked like human children rushed into the dark bar, followed by their master, a bat with crazy laughter. Dr. Fate, Kendra and Wonder Woman formed a team to go to the center of the multiverse, the Eternal Rock. Green Lantern, Mr. Excellence and the Plastic Man's Egg went to the Polaris Galaxy, while Aquaman and Deathstroke went to the Mariana Trench in Atlantis. Superman, Flash, and Steel came to the Fortress of Solitude. The artifact Cosmic Tuning Fork here was now filled with dark energy. The function of the Cosmic Tuning Fork was to observe the dark multiverse. In the bar, Superman realized that the coordinates of the dark multiverse were not far from the next door Phantom Zone. So, the Phantom Zone is actually the membrane between the main universe and the dark multiverse. What? Bruce thought that seeing the dark multiverse was exciting enough, but he didn't expect that there would be something more exciting. He thought that this story would not happen in his world, but if the Phantom Zone is really the membrane between the main universe and the dark multiverse as Superman said on the screen, then what if one day this membrane breaks? Barry, you start running at full speed now. Use your power to charge the Cosmic Tuning Fork. Steel, you prepare to use your sledgehammer to hit the Cosmic Tuning Fork to determine Bruce's coordinates, and then, I will rush in. The Flash immediately started running, and when the current was fully charged, Steel hit the Cosmic Tuning Fork, a black channel opened, and Superman turned into a golden light and rushed in. I'm here to save you, Bruce. Superman rushed in, and then he saw a scene that even he had to tremble. It wasn't Bruce who was here, but a much larger power tower made of the flesh and blood of countless universes. This is a trap. Finally, you're finally here. We've been waiting for you, forever and ever. Withered arms, collapsed face. If it weren't for the iconic red cape and the S on the chest, Superman wouldn't have recognized that these mummies attacking him were his own from other universes. The defeated Superman from other universes dragged Clark into the giant tower, where he heard a voice. I warned you not to come. The old voice sounded very familiar. If it wasn't Bruce, who else could it be? At this moment, he was white-haired and his face was covered with wrinkles, like an old man who was about to die. Why? Superman asked Batman. I clearly deciphered your code. All the lines in the dream are the masterpieces of Barbatus. There are 7 of them. How could they not know our agreement? Bruce's old voice said intermittently, in the multiverse, the only way to communicate is vibration. Batman's song, the tone from D to C, that is a warning not to come. No way, it's okay, we still have 3 teams, right? After saying this, the person who spoke himself lost confidence. On the other side, after the Flash opened the channel for Superman, he suddenly heard the voice of Cyborg. The sound of Cyborg at this time was like an electric current. His body had been dismembered, and only one head was still running. The intermittent voice sounded, and the Flash heard his words. They are rushing towards you, run. Not only the Flash, but the other 2 teams also received the message from Cyborg. A black passage opened up beside the Flash, and 2 bats rushed out of it. One was the Ravager who had defeated Superman before, and the other was a mechanical bat. Barry, or Warren, the electronic brain of the mechanical bat, made a judgment, and then said, oh, it's you, Barry. I'm glad to see you here. I hope you don't want to be like in my world, where your only achievement is to give away your head. Chapter 904, Nightmare Batman, Killing Machine. Nightmare Batman, Killing Machine chapter on air. Alfred Pennyworth. The Wayne family's butler, the person Batman trusts the most. He raised Bruce alone, and taught Bruce to think and be independent. For Bruce, Alfred is a family member and a safety rope, pulling him back from the edge of darkness again and again. Alfred is even more like his father, but Alfred is not a god, but a man. If one day, Alfred dies, then what will Bruce Wayne, the strongest human on Earth, do after losing his loved ones twice? In the dark alley, Killer Croc, Harley Quinn, Bane and Two-Face caught an old man. They tortured the old man madly and asked him about Batman's whereabouts, but the old man would rather die than obey. He is Alfred, Bruce Wayne's butler. Harley Quinn and Two-Face enjoyed this feeling very much, but Bane was impatient and grabbed Alfred and broke his back. Gulp. Constantine, who was closest to Bruce, ran away without hesitation. Bruce in this state was too terrifying. Bruce clenched his fists and gritted his teeth. He reminded himself that all this was just a story that happened in another universe. Now Alfu has cultivated his ki. He will not die easily, not in the Batcave. Bruce replayed the image of Alfu's murder over and over again. Superman persuaded Batman not to watch it anymore. Doing so would not do any good to his mental state. No good. Let me tell you what no good is, Clark. The old man who raised me like a father was abused and unrecognizable, with 36 fractures. Can you imagine what he went through at that time? And the place where he was killed was less than 6 miles away from us. Bruce fell into endless self-blame. Superman patted his shoulder to cheer him up, and at the same time, signaled the members of the Justice League to leave the room, to keep vigil for Alfu. Everyone dispersed, but Bruce called out to Cyborg. I want to use your ability to upload Alfred's consciousness before he died, and then create an artificial intelligence. I need your help, Victor. He is like a father to me. Cyborg knew the feeling of losing his father, so he helped Bruce complete the artificial intelligence. In Arkham Asylum, Bane broke through the cage. The madman's face was full of fear. At this moment, there were constant screams in Arkham Asylum. Bane wanted to escape from here, but was blocked by a group of people. It was Alfred. No, it was Alfred's. They surrounded Bane, and without Bane's defense, lasers instantly shot up, and Bane fell in a pool of blood. What can I do for you? This was Alfred's last words before he died, but it also became the last words Bane heard in his life. In the Batcave, Cyborg found that there was a problem with the artificial intelligence he built for Bruce. He just wanted to be an artificial intelligence that could help Batman sew and mend, and remind him to eat on time. However, the artificial intelligence created according to Alfred's consciousness before his death massacred the entire Arkham Asylum for the purpose of protecting Batman, and then swept towards the entire Gotham. The Batcave is the last safe place. Cyborg tried his best to persuade Bruce not to do stupid things, but Bruce simply didn't listen to Cyborg. He released his authority and allowed Alfred's artificial intelligence to assimilate him. Alfred transformed Bruce from emotions to bodies. Bruce forgot fear and sadness, completely lost his humanity, and turned into a ruthless, killing machine. He now just wants to clear some obstacles, the former Gotham villains, and now the Justice League. These are all his goals. The Justice League was almost wiped out, and even Superman fell in the ruthless iron fist of the killing machine. In the ruins, Cyborg tried his best to dissuade Bruce. Bruce, listen to me. Put down Alfred and sit back on your own. Victor, the two of us will always be together. This is my ideal state. An emotionless mechanical synthesized voice sounded, and the killing machine pulled out Cyborg's mechanical spine. He wanted Cyborg to see with his own eyes how he purified the world. The world was completely destroyed under the crushing of the mechanical army. Humans could not resist the killing machine that could control all electronic devices. At the moment when the killing machine completed the purification, a black shadow appeared. Under the persuasion of the black shadow, the killing machine joined them. It became the killing machine in the Nightmare Batman. Is this what the guy who looked like the Joker said before? That Bruce was afraid of losing Alfred, and that Alfred would be killed by the villains in revenge, and that this nightmare was born out of his fear? He was worried that Aquaman would destroy the world. He was afraid that Alfred would be killed by the villains in revenge. So the killing machine was born. He wanted to save his parents' lives. He wanted to save Gotham as soon as possible. He was afraid of Superman's power. So the Destroyer was born. He was afraid of losing Wonder Woman. There are 4 more. They had never thought that this man who had always been an ordinary person would bring about such great fear after gaining extraordinary power. The video continues. Barry, run, run. The Steel Man was captured by the Destroyer, and the end metal hammer in his hand was easily broken by the Destroyer. The Flash Barry had a determined look on his face. The most he had done in his life was racing against death. The Flash Barry turned and ran into the passage that had teleported the killing machine and the Destroyer here. When he left the passage, he realized that this was actually the Midtown he had just escaped from. Sure enough, all roads lead to Barbados. Suddenly, darkness enveloped the Flash, and at the same time, Green Lantern, Aquaman, and Wonder Woman woke up at the same time in the darkness. Damn it. The darkness here is so dark that even the light of the Green Lantern can't break through. The Green Lantern in the hand of Green Lantern Hal emits a green light, but it can't break through this layer of darkness. Everything will be fine. Bruce. Bruce. Is that you? When Batman's voice sounded, the four people showed excitement. When danger comes, having this man around is the greatest sense of security. Yeah, let me help you find some light. When the light came on, they found that they were all teleported to the Batcaves of different Nightmare Batmans. And here, the corresponding Nightmare Batman is waiting for them. Chapter 905, Nightmare Bats, Red Death. Image continues. Painful groans came from the depths of the multiverse. It was Cyborg. But he had been cut into pieces, and even his human form could not be seen. He was suffering from the pain of the mother box being separated from his body, and his companions were also suffering at this moment. Under Midtown, the Flash, who had just escaped from the clutches of the Ravager and the Killing Machine, was being chased by a red lightning. The most he had done in his life was racing against death. And the red lightning behind him, that Bruce, was his death god at this moment. Do you like it here, Barry? Bruce snapped his fingers, and a red Batmobile appeared here. Like it? A Batmobile driven by the Speed Force. I will outrun him. Barry, don't forget my superpowers. I have money. As Bruce finished speaking, hundreds of Batmobiles appeared at the same time. I killed you, and now, I'm going to kill you a second time. Bruce said, but a figure tried hard to separate from Bruce's body, but was suppressed by Bruce with his strong willpower, leaving only one sentence. I was not killed by you. I was just trapped in your body. Nightmare Batman Red Death Chapter Online. Bruce sat in the Batcave. He has been trying to save Gotham, but he has never brought real peace to Gotham from beginning to end, because when he took action, the tragedy had already happened. Until he discovered the Flash. Einstein discovered the theory of relativity, and the speed of trillions of times the speed of light gave Bruce a new understanding. At this moment, Bruce realized, to save Gotham, then you must be faster than Gotham. Almost, it didn't happen. Bruce caught the Flash Barry Allen, and he set his sights on the Flash's Speed Force. Midtown, it seemed to be attacked by a doomsday weapon, and began to fall apart. A golden lightning flashed through it. He was not saving Midtown, but running for his life. The Flash, the fastest superhero on Earth, had actually fallen to the point of fleeing madly. Lightning, flames, ice cones. Countless attacks fell behind the Flash, as if all the villains in Gotham had gathered to besiege him, but the Flash knew that the one who caused all this was just an ordinary person without any superpowers. Bruce Wayne, some people also call him Batman. In this universe, the Bat family was ruthlessly slaughtered. Nightwing, Robin, Barbara, and now Batman is the only one left in the huge Bat family. He thought for a long time, and finally thought of a way to save everything. That is, to use the Flash's Speed Force, to go back to the past to prevent the tragedy from happening. Bruce. The Flash stopped Bruce and said earnestly, someone wanted to do this before, but the Speed Force cannot change the past. He will only create a Flashpoint world. Time cannot be reversed. But Batman was still crazy. He just thought it was a boring excuse. He tried his best to kill the Flash. The Flash kept dodging. He also knew that, unless Bruce was knocked down, there would be no way to talk about this matter. Batman was old and had some powerlessness, while the Flash was still young. The Flash dismantled the Batmobile, then pulled Batman out of the rubble and threw him on the ground beside him. Looking at Batman lying on the ground, the Flash thought of their old friendship and wanted to persuade him, but was attacked by the unethical Batman and a cryogenic agent was injected into the Flash's body, having a metabolism different from that of ordinary people. Although there are many benefits, the price is also obvious. The moment the drug was injected into his body, it spread all over his body, and he instantly entered a dormant state. When Barry woke up again, he was tied to a Batmobile powered by a cosmic treadmill. I know that the speed force cannot be obtained by simple serum extraction, Barry. Bruce's voice came from the Batmobile, so I made some small modifications to your cosmic treadmill. The treadmill started, and when the speed of the cosmic treadmill and the Batmobile reached its peak, at the moment when the speed of the two people was unified, Bruce could take away the speed force of the Flash. You're crazy. They'll tear us all apart. Tear us apart? Bruce was indifferent. My soul has been torn apart a long time ago. It died in that bloody murder with their death. The speed of the Batmobile continued to increase. The chains that bound the Flash were the first to break, and then the two suits were torn apart together, followed by skin, muscles, and bones. Red flesh and blood permeated the speed force, just like the blood-red sky outside. TMD. Gordon cursed angrily. Since the appearance of the damn red sky, the crime rate in Gotham has skyrocketed at an unprecedented rate. Although Gotham used to be chaotic, it still had basic order. But now, the two forces that maintained the basic order have all disappeared, and instead, there is a carnival of criminals. In the alley, the Scarecrow attempted to kill a couple. Just as he raised the sickle high, a red lightning flashed, and the Scarecrow was broken in half. Red lightning ran wildly in Gotham City, leaving corpses everywhere. Countless black bats surrounded the red lightning, and in the center of the lightning was a guy wearing a red bat suit. Red Death. Bruce and Barry completed the fusion, but with the fusion came the collapse of the world. The current Red Death was very fast, but he could not be faster than the speed of the world's collapse, and the feeling of powerlessness once again surged into his heart. Do you know? The world you are in is a world destined to be destroyed. The Black Shadow appeared again, and he told the Red Death that his world was a projection of the upper bright world, a dark universe destined to be destroyed. Bruce's consciousness occupied the main body of the body, but Barry was still lurking in the subconscious. When the Black Shadow appeared, Barry tried desperately to take back the initiative of the body, but he was too weak. Then now, follow me, let's complete our revenge. Ha 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 ha. A sharp laugh sounded, and the Red Death joined the Nightmare Bat Knights, heading towards the main universe. Chapter 906, Nightmare Bats, Red Death. Image continues. A painful groan came from the depths of the multiverse. It was Cyborg. But he had been cut into pieces, and could not even be seen in human form. He was suffering from the pain of the mother box being separated from his body, and his companions were also suffering at this moment. Under Midtown, the Flash, who had just escaped from the clutches of the Ravager and the Killing Machine, was being chased by a red lightning. The most he had done in his life was racing against death. And the red lightning behind him, that Bruce, was his Death Reaper at this moment. Do you like it here, Barry? Bruce snapped his fingers, and a red Batmobile appeared here. Like it? A Batmobile driven by the Speed Force. I will outrun him. Barry, don't forget my superpowers. I have money. As Bruce finished speaking, hundreds of Batmobiles appeared at the same time. I killed you, and now, I'm going to kill you a second time. Bruce said, but a figure tried hard to separate from Bruce's body, but was suppressed by Bruce with his strong willpower, leaving only one sentence. I was not killed by you, I was just trapped in your body. Nightmare Batman Red Death Chapter Online. Bruce sat in the Batcave. He has been trying to save Gotham, but he has never brought real peace to Gotham from beginning to end, because when he took action, the tragedy had already happened. Until he discovered the Flash. Einstein discovered the theory of relativity, and the speed of trillions of times the speed of light gave Bruce a new understanding. At this moment, Bruce realized, to save Gotham, then you must be faster than Gotham. Almost, it didn't happen. Bruce caught the Flash Barry Allen, and he set his sights on the Flash's speed force. Midtown, it seemed to be attacked by a doomsday weapon, and began to fall apart. A golden lightning flashed through it. He was not saving Midtown, but running for his life. The Flash, the fastest superhero on Earth, had actually fallen to the point of fleeing madly. Lightning, flames, ice cones. Countless attacks fell behind the Flash, as if all the villains in Gotham had gathered to besiege him. But the Flash knew that the one who caused all this was just an ordinary person without any superpowers. Bruce Wayne. Some people also call him Batman. In this universe, the Bat family was ruthlessly slaughtered. Nightwing, Robin, Barbara, and now Batman is the only one left in the huge Bat family. He thought for a long time, and finally thought of a way to save everything. That is, to use the Flash's speed force, to go back to the past to prevent the tragedy from happening. Bruce. The Flash stopped Bruce and said earnestly, someone wanted to do this before, but the speed force cannot change the past. He will only create a Flashpoint world. Time cannot be reversed. But Batman was still crazy. He just thought it was a boring excuse. He tried his best to kill the Flash. The Flash kept dodging. He also knew that, unless Bruce was knocked down, there would be no way to talk about this matter. Batman was old and had some powerlessness, while the Flash was still young. The Flash dismantled the Batmobile, then pulled Batman out of the rubble and threw him on the ground beside him. Looking at Batman lying on the ground, the Flash thought of their old friendship and wanted to persuade him, but was attacked by the unethical Batman and a cryogenic agent was injected into the Flash's body, having a metabolism different from that of ordinary people. Although there are many benefits, the price is also obvious. The moment the drug was injected into his body, it spread all over his body, and he instantly entered a dormant state. When Barry woke up again, he was tied to a Batmobile powered by a cosmic treadmill. I know that the speed force cannot be obtained by simple serum extraction, Barry. Bruce's voice came from the Batmobile, so I made some small modifications to your cosmic treadmill. The treadmill started, and when the speed of the cosmic treadmill and the Batmobile reached its peak, at the moment when the speed of the two people was unified, Bruce could take away the speed force of the Flash. You're crazy. They'll tear us all apart. Tear us apart? Bruce was indifferent. My soul has been torn apart a long time ago. It died in that bloody murder with their death. The speed of the Batmobile continued to increase. The chains that bound the Flash were the first to break, and then the two suits were torn apart together, followed by skin, muscles, and bones. Red flesh and blood permeated the speed force, just like the blood-red sky outside. TMD. Gordon cursed angrily. Since the appearance of the damn red sky, the crime rate in Gotham has skyrocketed at an unprecedented rate. Although Gotham used to be chaotic, it still had basic order. But now, the two forces that maintained the basic order have all disappeared, and instead, there is a carnival of criminals. In the alley, the Scarecrow attempted to kill a couple. Just as he raised the sickle high, a red lightning flashed, and the Scarecrow was broken in half. Red lightning ran wildly in Gotham City, leaving corpses everywhere. Countless black bats surrounded the red lightning, and in the center of the lightning was a guy wearing a red bat suit. Red Death. Bruce and Barry completed the fusion, but with the fusion came the collapse of the world. The current Red Death was very fast, but he could not be faster than the speed of the world's collapse, and the feeling of powerlessness once again surged into his heart. Do you know? The world you are in is a world destined to be destroyed. The Black Shadow appeared again, and he told the Red Death that his world was a projection of the upper bright world, a dark universe destined to be destroyed. Bruce's consciousness occupied the main body of the body, but Barry was still lurking in the subconscious. When the Black Shadow appeared, Barry tried desperately to take back the initiative of the body, but he was too weak. Then now, follow me, let's complete our revenge. Ha 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 ha. A sharp laugh sounded, and the Red Death joined the Nightmare Bat Knights, heading towards the main universe. Chapter 907, Nightmare Bats and Red Death. Image continues. A painful groan came from the depths of the multiverse. It was Cyborg, but he had been cut into pieces and could not even be seen in human form. He was suffering from the pain of the mother box being separated from his body, and his companions were also suffering at this moment. Under Midtown, the Flash, who had just escaped from the clutches of the Ravager and the Killing Machine, was being chased by a red lightning. The most he had done in his life was racing against death. And the red lightning behind him, that Bruce, was his Death Reaper at this moment. Do you like it here, Barry? Bruce snapped his fingers, and a red Batmobile appeared here. Like it? A Batmobile driven by the Speed Force. I will outrun him. Barry, don't forget my superpowers. I have money. As Bruce finished speaking, hundreds of Batmobiles appeared at the same time. I killed you, and now, I'm going to kill you a second time. Bruce said, but a figure tried hard to separate from Bruce's body, but was suppressed by Bruce with his strong willpower, leaving only one sentence. I was not killed by you. I was just trapped in your body. Nightmare Batman Red Death Chapter Online. Bruce sat in the Batcave. He has been trying to save Gotham, but he has never brought real peace to Gotham from beginning to end, because when he took action, the tragedy had already happened. Until he discovered the Flash. Einstein discovered the theory of relativity, and the speed of trillions of times the speed of light gave Bruce a new understanding. At this moment, Bruce realized, to save Gotham, then you must be faster than Gotham. Almost, it didn't happen. Bruce caught the Flash Barry Allen, and he set his sights on the Flash's Speed Force. Midtown, it seemed to be attacked by a doomsday weapon, and began to fall apart. A golden lightning flashed through it. He was not saving Midtown, but running for his life. The Flash, the fastest superhero on Earth, had actually fallen to the point of fleeing madly. Lightning, flames, ice cones. Countless attacks fell behind the Flash, as if all the villains in Gotham had gathered to besiege him, but the Flash knew that the one who caused all this was just an ordinary person without any superpowers. Bruce Wayne, some people also call him Batman. In this universe, the Bat family was ruthlessly slaughtered. Nightwing, Robin, Barbara, and now Batman is the only one left in the huge Bat family. He thought for a long time, and finally thought of a way to save everything. That is, to use the Flash's Speed Force, to go back to the past to prevent the tragedy from happening. Bruce. The Flash stopped Bruce and said earnestly, someone wanted to do this before, but the Speed Force cannot change the past. He will only create a Flashpoint world. Time cannot be reversed. But Batman was still crazy. He just thought it was a boring excuse. He tried his best to kill the Flash. The Flash kept dodging. He also knew that, unless Bruce was knocked down, there would be no way to talk about this matter. Batman was old and had some powerlessness, while the Flash was still young. The Flash dismantled the Batmobile, then pulled Batman out of the rubble and threw him on the ground beside him. Looking at Batman lying on the ground, the Flash thought of their old friendship and wanted to persuade him, but was attacked by the unethical Batman and a cryogenic agent was injected into the Flash's body, having a metabolism different from that of ordinary people. Although there are many benefits, the price is also obvious. The moment the drug was injected into his body, it spread all over his body, and he instantly entered a dormant state. When Barry woke up again, he was tied to a Batmobile powered by a cosmic treadmill. I know that the Speed Force cannot be obtained by simple serum extraction, Barry. Bruce's voice came from the Batmobile, so I made some small modifications to your cosmic treadmill. The treadmill started, and when the speed of the cosmic treadmill and the Batmobile reached its peak, at the moment when the speed of the two people was unified, Bruce could take away the Speed Force of the Flash. You're crazy. They'll tear us all apart. Tear us apart? Bruce was indifferent. My soul has been torn apart a long time ago. It died in that bloody murder with their death. The speed of the Batmobile continued to increase. The chains that bound the Flash were the first to break, and then the two suits were torn apart together, followed by skin, muscles, and bones. Red flesh and blood permeated the Speed Force, just like the blood-red sky outside. TMD. Gordon cursed angrily. Since the appearance of the damn red sky, the crime rate in Gotham has skyrocketed at an unprecedented rate. Although Gotham used to be chaotic, it still had basic order. But now, the two forces that maintained the basic order have all disappeared, and instead, there is a carnival of criminals. In the alley, the Scarecrow attempted to kill a couple. Just as he raised the sickle high, a red lightning flashed, and the Scarecrow was broken in half. Red lightning ran wildly in Gotham City, leaving corpses everywhere. Countless black bats surrounded the red lightning, and in the center of the lightning was a guy wearing a red bat suit. Red Death. Bruce and Barry completed the fusion, but with the fusion came the collapse of the world. The current Red Death was very fast, but he could not be faster than the speed of the world's collapse, and the feeling of powerlessness once again surged into his heart. Do you know? The world you are in is a world destined to be destroyed. The Black Shadow appeared again, and he told the Red Death that his world was a projection of the upper bright world, a dark universe destined to be destroyed. Bruce's consciousness occupied the main body of the body, but Barry was still lurking in the subconscious. When the Black Shadow appeared, Barry tried desperately to take back the initiative of the body, but he was too weak. Then now, follow me, let's complete our revenge. Ha 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 ha. A sharp laugh sounded, and the Red Death joined the Nightmare Bat Knights, heading towards the main universe. Chapter 908, Batwoman, the Drowned Soul. There are 7 Nightmare Batmen in total, and the weird guy only said 6 before. Tony said, it's obvious that he doesn't intend to talk about his origins. Could it be that the reason for their birth is the key to defeating them? The video continues. The central city of the main universe is peaceful. Suddenly, a red light appeared in the sky. A large number of black bats poured in from the red light, and anyone who came into contact with the bats became extremely old. Some elderly people were even directly transformed into a mummified corpse by the black bats. Even the Flash couldn't resist this power. Fortunately, Dr. Fate rescued the defeated Flash back to the Dark Knight bar. But this time, in the Batcave of the Red Death, there was no help from Dr. Fate. Graysport. This is a port in the hometown of Aquaman. The port is not big, but it is a well-known tourist destination. Before the darkness fell. Now here, the only thing is dead silence. Holding the trident, Aquaman roared angrily, causing the drowned souls to appear and duel with him for the second time. In the previous battle, Aquaman was beaten to autism, but now, the wrath of the King of the Seven Seas is about to sweep the entire ocean. Come out, bitch. The drowned ghost took away his wife Mera and his people. Now, he wants to tear her apart completely. Let him fulfill his wish. The drowned ghost appeared. The drowned ghost appeared driving a deep sea monster. The angry Aquaman went up and severely injured the deep sea monster. The deep sea monster let out a painful wail, which made Aquaman uneasy. Strange. Why? Haven't you discovered it yet? The drowned ghost sneered and said, this is the person you've been thinking about, your wife, Mera. What? Just when Aquaman was sluggish, the drowned ghost immediately manipulated Mera, who was transformed into a deep sea monster, to launch a fatal attack on Aquaman. Nightmare Batman, the drowned ghost started. Gotham. Baby, is the opera good tonight? Good. A family of 3 walked happily in the harbor, with the parents on the left and the child in the middle. Bruce Wayne. Bruce is only 8 years old this year. As the eldest daughter of the Wayne family, she will have a perfect and carefree life, if nothing unexpected happens. Bang. Bang. Gunshots rang out in the dark alley, and the Wayne couple fell in a pool of blood, leaving only an 8-year-old girl. When the police arrived, the girl had not yet recovered from her daze. Later, the girl was taken back by the old housekeeper Mrs. Pennyworth, and when she appeared in the public eye again, she had grown into a graceful young girl. I was saying that the drowned ghost looked a little strange. I thought it was caused by the underwater environment, but I didn't expect it to be a world of opposite genders. Tony looked at the screen with interest. Well, if nothing else, it was really good looking. The same is true for Loki's counterpart Sylvie. But Tony soon came up with a new idea. Damn, there won't be a female equivalent of me, right? No problem. Even if there is, she must be the most beautiful woman in that world, just like Stark is the most attractive man in his own world. Bruce looked at Bruce on the screen and could guess the next plot with his feet. The video continues. Yes, Batwoman appeared. She was flying in the night sky of Gotham City, constantly fighting criminals. But as time went on, her opponents changed from small gangsters to various superpowered criminals. Batwoman met the love of her life in the process. Sylvester. The two were ready to get married, and Bruce was even ready to retire. But just when everything was going in an orderly manner, tragedy happened. Because Bruce was busy preparing for her wedding with her lover, Batwoman had not appeared for a long time, and the superpowered criminals in Gotham were ready to move, and they took action one night. The direct consequence of the action was that Gotham City was severely damaged, with countless casualties, including Bruce's lover. That day, Bruce regretted it very much. She found out how stupid her previous idea was. If she had killed all the superpower criminals instead of locking them up in Arkham Asylum, perhaps nothing would have happened today. 18 months. She spent 18 months killing all the superpowered people in Gotham. Yes, kill them all. She thought the world was safe. She thought she had finally avenged her lover. At this moment, countless black shadows emerged from the sea. The Queen of the Sea. The Queen of the Sea claimed that she came for peace, but her intuition told Bruce that this was impossible. She was just another superpowered villain. Their arrival would threaten everything she cherished. She didn't believe that the Atlanteans would make any efforts for peace. Everything that happened next really proved her intuition. The so-called peace talks lasted only 3 minutes before they broke down. Aquaman raised her trident and stabbed at Bruce. Batwoman dodged the attack and took the trident with her left hand to control Aquaman's attack. Then she punched Aquaman in the face with her right hand, snatched the trident in a flash, and pierced Aquaman's body. Blood was everywhere around the two of them, and Batwoman ended the Queen of Atlantis. But the war was not over. Aquaman was just a puppet chess piece. The great nobles of Atlantis could no longer bear the idea of expanding their territory, but they were not able to do it for various reasons. And now, a moderate Aquaman died at the hands of humans. Not only did they have a reasonable reason to start a war, but they also had no previous obstacles. Turbulent waves were set off all over the world, and tsunamis submerged everything. Gotham City was engulfed by the flood. Bruce Wayne faced the crazy counterattack of Atlantis, the underwater battlefield that was not suitable for her, and the Gotham City that was flooded. Bruce Wayne made an extremely crazy decision. She transformed herself into a cyborg similar to the royal family of Atlantis. She transformed her DNA and gained the ability to breathe in water. She transformed her body structure to make herself more suitable for underwater combat. She mixed in mutant genes to gain accelerated healing and a strong body. He implanted hybrid cells and gained the ability to manipulate water. She gave up her human identity and chose to become a monster to protect her home. She knew that, even if a person was powerful, he could not compete with a country. Just assume that there was no Superman or Supergirl in this worldview. So she specially created a biochemical army and a virus called Dead Water that could transform Atlanteans into biochemical monsters completely loyal to her. After completing all this, she was completely no longer a human. She held the trident of Aquaman and embraced her new identity. She wanted to bring the countless human souls who had drowned in the sea to take revenge on Atlantis. She is no longer a human being, no longer Bruce Wayne. She is the drowned soul. Chapter 909, Nightmare Batman, Ruthless Fighter. The video continues. The drowned soul is more powerful than the Atlanteans could imagine. She can destroy the strongest warship of Atlantis with her bare hands. Any deep sea monster cannot survive more than 3 rounds in her hands. What scares the Atlanteans even more is her powerful biotechnology that is almost magical. The Dead Water virus can easily transform all Atlanteans who are not of royal blood, and the Atlantean royal family has died in the Atlantean conspiracy. This alone makes the drowned soul inherently invincible. Besides, even if there are still remnants of the royal family, can they fight the drowned soul? Or, can they survive 3 rounds? The drowned soul won, but at what cost? Gotham, and even most of the human land, has been completely changed. Water, endless water dominates here, and she has to accept a brand new life. But one thing has not changed. In the darkness Bruce lit the bat light, which represents hope. This has become the only light in this dark world. One day, the bat light suddenly dimmed. Bruce went to repair it as usual. There, she saw a man in black clothes with a pale face and a crazy laugh that frightened her. You don't believe in anything, right, Bruce? You don't believe in anything, and that's why the world is doomed. Just as the man in front of her said, Bruce couldn't believe in anyone except herself. But although the man had that crazy smile on his face, she felt a little familiar and at ease. But it's not all your fault. It's all that light. Look, the light from the upper world. Bruce looked along the shadow's finger, and the shadow showed her the upper world of the dark multiverse. Bruce seemed to see a mirage. The dark multiverse is destined to be destroyed, and these destructions are to ensure the reproduction of the upper world. The dark multiverse is full of stories that should never happen. Twisted, deformed, and desperate. This is the main theme of the dark multiverse. The Destroyer, the Red Death, the Killing Machine. We are all the darkness of Bruce from the main universe. Our world has paid an undue price for the peace and happiness of their world. You are Bruce Wayne, who was born in the main universe, and his worry about Aquaman, and whether Atlantis will destroy the world with floods. The drowned soul felt the resonance between himself and the Batmans of the dark multiverse. They are the same. Even the guy in front of him is the same. She understood instantly that all the struggles, costs, and sacrifices were just a joke in the eyes of the people in the upper world. Do you see the light above? It's mocking us. In that pure world, everything is bright and lucky. This is why we suffer, and this is the source of our pain. In that world, there is the perfection you dream of, and you will become their nightmare. The drowned soul clenched the trident. She was going to become the nightmare of that world. Before going to the upper universe, she asked, "What about you? What are you?" "Ha, just a laughing bat. Just a Batman who can laugh." That's the laugh. That's the laugh. When the Shadow admitted his identity, the Lord could no longer hold back. The laugh he heard in Bruce's mind was exactly the same as here. It was a nightmare deeply imprinted in the depths of his soul and would never be extinguished. Isn't it just a human? What can he do? Zhang-Su has always maintained his original attitude on this matter, which is disdain. He always believed that, even if humans gained power, they could never compare with them. They are demons, great demons. The Holy Lord was too lazy to argue with Zhang-Su. It was him, not Zhang-Su, who got into Bruce's mind at that time. Humph, just a human. I can electrocute them with just a lightning bolt. Zhang-Su was also a demon who had been watching for a long time. If that Superman came, Zhang-Su might have to think twice, but Bruce Wayne, the guy dressed similarly to Zemu, was just a slightly stronger human without any magic. Even if he transformed himself through that strange magic, he was just a high-level fishman. As for the Ravager in front, it might be a threat, but Doomsday was just like that in Zhang-Su's eyes. How strong can a descendant of Doomsday be? Zemu looked at the arrogant Zhang-Su. Sufficient food sources allowed their strength to recover, but the recovery of strength obviously would not bring back the brain. Although the previous Zhang-Su was not a demon with much brains, the reason why Zemu felt that the previous Zhang-Su was okay was entirely because everyone was at the same level. In the original level, Bogang's brain was enough, and DKUI was considered smart, but after seeing the level of humans, Zemu decisively chose to follow up. The video continues. The drowned ghost stands on the head of Mera, who was transformed by her, and looks at Aquaman Arthur. Arthur is attacked crazily by the deep sea monster Mera, and he no longer dares to attack. The drowned ghost did not release her dead water army. She wants to take back what the world owes her bit by bit. This scene is just the interest. This place, this light, this port of mercy, the world owes me. Under the headquarters of the Eye of Heaven, in a cave full of desolate and primitive atmosphere. Diana turned her head and looked. It was a huge statue. It was her statue. Do you like this gift, Diana? Bruce, wearing armor and holding a long sword, appeared in front of Diana. He said, "This is carved by me. This is the tomb I carefully built for you. In my universe, I wish we could have a home. Now, their fate will finally not be controlled by the gods anymore." Nightmare Batman, ruthless fighter on air. Bruce Wayne, a famous playboy in Gotham City, and he has a second identity, Batman. These two identities destined him to have no shortage of women, nor confidants. From Catwoman to Superman, and then to the Joker, Bruce Wayne in most universes remained unmarried. And in this universe, Batman finally met someone he could entrust his life to. His comrade in arms, the Amazon Princess, Wonder Woman, Diana Prince. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 910, Nightmare Bats and Dawn Lantern. The video continues. In this universe, Batman and Wonder Woman secretly fell in love while fighting side by side and finally became lovers. Their beautiful life was not disrupted by the war outside. Yes, war. This is a universe full of war, and war is the source of the power of Ares, the god of war. In this universe, Ares used the power brought by war for thousands of years to create a helmet that can amplify the already powerful power of Ares by 100 times. Batman and Wonder Woman tried their best to take the helmet off Ares, but Diana died in this battle. Ares is still powerful without the blessing of the helmet, while Batman is just an ordinary person without any superpowers. The battle just now exhausted him, his battle suit was tattered, and the magical props on his body were almost used up, leaving only a bat dart. Facing Ares, Batman picked up the helmet. The helmet made by Ares. Wonder Woman once told Bruce that this helmet is not a good thing. All those who wear it will eventually be corrupted by the helmet. Bruce firmly believes that those who are corrupted are those who are not firm in their hearts. He firmly believes that his principles can make him resist the erosion of the helmet. He wants to reshape the war in the name of the god of war. Ares did not stop Batman. Before this, there were mortals and even other gods who tried to wear the helmet, but their results were all corrupted by the helmet and became part of the helmet. Now that the demigod is dead, a mere mortal will become a slave of the helmet. Ares firmly believes that Batman is no exception. He is the master of the helmet. How can a mortal defeat his head? Ares' head fell off. Batman cut it off with a knife. The god of war Ares died in his own arrogance. Batman, who has the power of the god of war, easily killed Ares. God of war? Nothing more. Gods can also be killed, and when gods are killed, they will also die. The power of the helmet gave Batman a new set of armor. Bruce's will and the helmet collided with each other. The helmet did not corrupt Batman, but Batman did not defeat the helmet. Batman was not controlled by the helmet and became a slave of this artifact, but the helmet was made of the wronged souls and hatred of those who died in wars over the past tens of millions of years. From the moment he put on this helmet, he had to bear the resentment of those who died in wars over the past tens of millions of years. How many people died in the wars over the years? No one can give an accurate number, but it is certain that it must have exceeded the total number of living humans now. And now they gather in Batman's mind and influence his will. Batman sat quietly beside Wonder Woman's body for 3 days and 3 nights. When he raised his head again, his scalded eyes flashed with a desire for killing. War is caused by the gods, so I will slaughter all the gods. From now on, I will abandon my feelings and only kill all the gods. I am the ruthless war demon. Bruce and the helmet merged. Bruce was the main and the helmet was the auxiliary. This man conquered hundreds of millions of innocent souls by himself. But the price was that his feelings were completely gone. His principles were shattered, and he has now become a real killing machine. The fire on Mount Olympus was burning, and the gods who were once high and mighty were now slaughtered by the ruthless war demon holding a big sword like pigs and dogs waiting to be slaughtered. After the head of the last god was chopped off, snickering sounded. Do you think what you are doing makes sense? Get out, you scoundrel. Ha 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 ha. Black Shadow led 2 Robins out of the side hall and said, this world is in war because of the gods, but even without the gods, this world is destined to be destroyed. Do you want to build a beautiful world in these ruins? Faced with Black Shadow's nagging, the ruthless war demon showed what it means to be ruthless and talk little. He directly slashed with a sword, just like he killed everyone who stopped him, including Superman and other members of the Justice League. However, the decapitation style that was always effective failed. Black Shadow easily avoided the attack of the ruthless war demon, and then he took out a photo. See this Wonder Woman? This is Wonder Woman from another world. That is the upper world, a peaceful universe that they can never reach. Join us and beauty will be at your fingertips. Diana, I will prove that I'm right. The ruthless war demon said to Diana in front of him, choose a weapon, and then fight me. But Diana refused. It was not that she refused to fight. Instead, she wanted to kill the ruthless war demon with her bare hands, and then get rid of the other nightmare bats. Both sides fought with bare hands. Diana mocked the merciless war demon's poor fighting skills. Who taught you these fighting skills? Catwoman. Alpha? It was you. The merciless war demon seized Diana's weakness with his backhand and threw her out. Diana, you taught me all my fighting skills. Do you know? After I slaughtered all the gods, I went to Paradise Island, where all the Amazons fought with me for 3 days and 3 nights, and in the end they all became my dead souls. Then, I went to the river Styx, killed the ferryman of the river Styx, took away all the dead souls of the Amazons from the river Styx, and sealed them here. The merciless war demon struck a huge coin, and countless wronged souls of the Amazons appeared in the coin, welcoming their princess with endless resentment. The day is bright, the night is dark, demons and monsters have nowhere to hide. Evildoers and traitors fear my divine light. The Green Lantern is always on, shining forever. In the underground of Binhay City, Green Lantern Hal kept reciting the oath, but the light of the Green Lantern still could not penetrate the darkness. Hal was constantly attacked by Bruce in the dark, but he was not afraid at all. He mocked Bruce, who could only attack by surprise, as a funny clown. You curse again. Haha, you named your ability the Lights Off program, right? Hal's voice sounded in the dark, and Bruce, who was originally in the dark, couldn't help but feel a little frightened. I don't know why. When facing this man, he always felt that even his Lights Off program, that could seal all green lights, was of no use. The next second, the Green Lantern in Hal's hand began to flash wildly. Turn off the light. I figured out how this thing works. As long as I keep the green light on and off, your funny light off program won't be able to catch my light. The day is bright, the night is dark, demons and monsters have nowhere to hide. Evildoers and traitors are afraid of my divine light. The green light is always on, shining forever. A huge Green Lantern giant appeared in the darkness. If you look closely, the body of the Green Lantern giant flickers on and off, but the frequency is so high that it cannot be detected by the naked eye, so high that it looks like a shining star. The battle started, and it was a one-sided ravage. However, the one being ravaged was not Hal, but little Bruce. Chapter 911, The Green Lantern Who Is Only Handsome for 3 Seconds. My lantern ring was not given by others, nor did it actively seek me out. It was forged under my will. I'm not carrying it with me, because I'm it. We blew up the war world, we returned from the underworld, and we saved the gods. Now, we are going to burn you to ashes. He is Hal Jordan, and he has another title. The greatest Green Lantern in history. Countless terrifying monsters appeared beside him. Who will go first? Little Bruce had never seen such a powerful Green Lantern. In his world, those guys were killed by him. Nightmare Batman, Dawn of the Lantern chapter on air. The Lantern Ring is one of the most powerful artifacts in this universe. It can enable the owner to exert one of the strongest powers in this multiverse, the power of the emotional spectrum. There are 9 kinds of lantern rings. In addition to black and white, the remaining 7 kinds represent an emotion: green, will, red, anger, yellow, fear, orange, greed, indigo, pity, blue, hope, and purple, love. The Green Lantern Core is one of the largest number of Lantern Core. The energy of Green Lanterns is very magical. It can materialize the imagination of the user, which sounds quite idealistic. Earth, Gotham City. The Wayne couple took their son, 8-year-old Bruce Wayne, to watch the long-awaited movie The Mask of Zorro. When they came out of the cinema and passed through an alley, the gangster chill suddenly attacked them for money and killed them. Bruce Wayne, who was nearly 8 years old, knelt down beside his parents' bodies in a daze. Under the huge blow, Bruce's inner world completely collapsed. From this moment on, there was only nothingness in his heart. In the string of pearl necklaces scattered on the ground, several precious pearls fell beside him. The green light cut through the night sky, and a meteorite fell in front of Bruce. That was not a meteorite, but a ring that flashed green light. The Lantern Ring, the Lantern Ring of the Green Lantern Core. The Green Lantern represents will, the will to overcome fear, and is hostile to the Yellow Lantern. Because there was only nothingness left in his heart, the intelligent AI system of the Lantern Ring determined that Bruce Wayne in front of him had a strong willpower to overcome fear, but he just forgot about fear. Bruce Wayne, who was gifted, quickly got the hang of the Lantern Ring. He ignored the core mentioned in the Lantern Ring, and didn't care about any rules. He instantly used the Lantern Ring like an experienced veteran. He didn't care about those rules at all at this moment. He immediately found the little gangster's ear. A mortal was like an ant in front of the powerful Green Lantern. At the moment, when Bruce was about to kill, the Lantern Ring began to stop him. The first rule of the Green Lantern Core. The cold voice of the Lantern Ring rang in Bruce's mind. No lethal force is allowed. If it was Batman, Bruce would not do this, even if the lantern ring did not say it, but now Bruce is just a revenge machine driven by hatred after losing his parents. If Bruce was just an ordinary child, he could only obey the rules of the lantern ring and beat up Zil at most, but he is not an ordinary person, he is Bruce Wayne. In other words, Bruce Wayne has another name, Batman. Obey me. Bruce roared, and the lantern ring began to fight against Bruce's will, but it was defeated in just 3 seconds. Bruce's will instantly broke through the upper limit of the lantern ring. He used his own thoughts to shatter the restrictions of the lantern ring and completely controlled the lantern ring. The shackles constructed by the Green Lantern Corps rules were smashed to pieces by Bruce, and the terrifying green light energy tore Zil apart. After that, Bruce tried to use the green light energy to resurrect his parents. He released the power of the lantern ring again, thinking that the Green Lantern ring did have the ability to resurrect the dead who had died not long ago, but now the lantern ring has mutated after using lethal force. Although it would be impossible to resurrect successfully, even if there was no mutation, the resurrected Bruce's parents were like zombies, green all over and unconscious. Looking at the 2 zombies, he killed them again, and then completely turned black. Bruce has a paranoid hatred for any criminal, and soon this paranoid hatred began to spread to everything. As a symbol of law and justice in Gotham City, Commissioner Gordon chose to investigate the truth. He followed the green light to find Bruce. He knew that the disappearance of Scarecrow and Penguin was related to the boy in front of him. Gordon began to interrogate him, and Bruce seemed impatient in the face of Gordon's interrogation. Yes, I did all the disappearances. I tore Scarecrow to pieces, threw Penguin into space, beat Killer Croc to pieces, and Bane was left with no ashes. I also did all those gangster cases. Are you satisfied? When Gordon heard this, his heart suddenly skipped a beat. The next second, a green beam turned him into ashes. At the same time, the Green Lantern Corps finally found the problem. Bruce Wayne of Sector 2814, you have seriously violated the first law. Now, we declare to you the Green Lantern Corps came to Earth to attack Bruce Wayne, but the next second, the leading Green Lantern was torn to pieces by Bruce. The shocked and angry Green Lantern Corps saw that Bruce did not follow the moral principles of martial arts and attacked directly, so they decisively attacked collectively. The next second, darkness fell. After the destruction of Bruce's ring, it gained a new ability, the Lights Off program. The Light Off program can absorb all the surrounding light, including the light of the Green Lantern. The Green Lantern Corps rings will be extinguished and unable to operate under this ability. The Green Lanterns who descended on Sector 2814 were annihilated, and Bruce went straight to the headquarters of the Green Lantern Corps. Standing in front of the Green Lantern furnace, the source of Green Lantern energy, Bruce suddenly realized that the reason why he could not really become stronger for many years was that he was dragged down by his feelings for his parents and his identity. Although he now has powerful weapons, his heart is still as fragile as a child. Bruce Wayne, who has realized the truth, walked into the central battery. At this moment, he completely gave up his identity as Bruce Wayne. When he walked out of the Green Lantern furnace again, he was Dawnbreaker. The extinction of the Green Lantern brought the world into darkness. In the darkness, crazy laughter came, and that man came again. He easily pulled the immature Dawnbreaker into the Nightmare Bat Knights, and together with other Nightmare Bats, they fought their way to the upper universe. Although you extinguished your universe, there is still a more dazzling universe emitting light. Go and extinguish it, and cover that universe with darkness. Then, the Great Barbatus will be able to resurrect your parents. Just like that, the Dawnbreaker, who announced that he would abandon his feelings for his parents 1 second ago, joined the Nightmare Bat Knights the next second, because Barbatus could resurrect his parents, and declared war on the upper universe. How hasty, too hasty. Chapter 912, Millions of Steel Bones. There are 7 Nightmare Bats, 6 of which have appeared now, but the guy who has been recruiting other Nightmare Bats has not revealed his information. We don't know his origin story. Logan, this guy gives me a feeling that he is a bit like the clown in the Wasteland world. Logan's words made everyone suddenly enlightened. Yes, if Bruce and the clown are superimposed, a guy similar to that bat will appear. I'm worried that Aquaman will destroy the world, so the drowned soul was born. I'm afraid that Alfred will be retaliated by the villain, so the killing machine was born. I want to save my parents' lives, so the Dawn Lantern was born. I want to save Gotham one step faster, so the Red Death was born. I'm afraid of Clark's powerful strength, so the Ravager was born. I'm afraid of losing Wonder Woman, so the Ruthless War Demon was born. Bruce finished talking about the origins of the 6 Nightmare Bats as if introducing himself. And that guy, his origin is also my fear. Bruce knew where the clown-like self came from, and that was his deepest fear. Ha 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 ha, am I crazy? The green-haired guy was still laughing, even though he was beaten to the point of spitting blood. Yes, I'm a madman. No matter who it is, even the most rational person, as long as he has the worst day, he will become a madman. And you, but, ha 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 ha, a person, actually wants to dress up as a bat. People who dress themselves up as clowns are crazy, so isn't the person who dresses himself up as a bat also a madman? Exclamation mark. I'm immortal, because I live in everyone's heart, including you. But, you have me in your heart. Bruce will not say what the guy's origin is, but Bruce knows exactly what the reason is. Image continues, the camera returns back to the main universe. Oh, the invincible Hal Jordan fell down. The Dawnbreaker dragged the greatest Green Lantern slowly up the mountain. I couldn't hold it anymore when I saw this. You may not feel anything, because the origin of the Dawnbreaker is mixed in between, but I saw Hal pretending to be awesome one second, and then being dragged away by the Dawnbreaker the next second. Hal was tied to the reshaped cosmic tuning fork, and there were others tied here, none other than the heroes defeated by Nightmare Batman. And the Flash, Aquaman, and Wonder Woman were also defeated by their own exclusive Batmans, and the arrangement was clear. Ha 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 ha, the Shadow laughed and clapped his hands, announcing his joy. I especially like these heroes of the main universe, because they always think they are the center of the universe, as if only they can save the universe. What kind of arrogance and conceit. Next to the Shadow is Cyborg. His body is being decomposed. The Shadow looks at the painful Cyborg, and in order to make the game more interesting, he tells Cyborg how powerful the mother box in his chest is. He was afraid that Cyborg would not understand, so he used the simplest language to describe the power of the mother box. The mother box contains an element X. You don't need to know what it is. You only need to know that after we obtain this power, we can go to more universes and crush all light and hope. Cyborg fought desperately, and the power of darkness continued to impact Cyborg's mind. He knew that, in order to obtain the element X, this group of dark bats would do everything possible, but until now, he was still resisting. Looking at Cyborg who fought desperately, the Shadow smiled with satisfaction. That's it. Resist harder. In this way, when you are desperate, it will be more interesting. The voice of the mother box appeared in Cyborg's mind. The mother box persuaded Cyborg to merge with it. When they merged into one, Cyborg would have the power of the mother box, which was the power of 52 universes and countless lives. Is the power of this thing so outrageous? In everyone's impression, the mother box is just a tool used by Darkseid to transform the planet, and it needs to be combined at the destination. Although this thing is powerful, it is only considered upper class in the minds of people who have already raised their vision. But now you suddenly tell me that this thing has the power of 52 universes and countless lives, which is a little unexpected. 52 universes appeared in front of Cyborg, and the mother box told him that, if he didn't combine, these universes would be destroyed. And if they combined, Cyborg's consciousness would be completely assimilated by the mother box. The human light in Cyborg's eyes began to dissipate, and his consciousness was being assimilated by the mother box. Whether Cyborg agreed to the mother box or the mother box forced Cyborg to merge, we don't know, but one thing is certain, that is, next, it is Cyborg's return as a king. Data Rafu, who was escorting Wonder Woman and others, began to format, and finally disappeared completely. Killing Machine couldn't figure out what was going on, but it was obvious that something interfered with Killing Machine's signal. A voice rang out in the sonic boom channel. I'm always here. A million steel bones are here. As Steel Bones moved his mind, all the restraints were released. Boring plot. Dark Shadow Bruce waved his hand, not wanting to participate in this unsuspenseful battle. The two sides fought again, but this time they learned to be smart and learned to exchange opponents. But this is far from enough. Kendra, Mr. Excellence, Deathstroke and others were also rescued by Steel Bones. Steel Bones, as powerful as a Phoenix Nirvana, connected their teammates with their consciousness. From this moment on, no one can separate them. At the same time, Steel Bones shared the truth about the birth of the 7 Dark Bats with everyone, including Bruce in Black. His name is Laughing Bat. They are still Bruce. They can be defeated. Ha 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 ha. Hearing what Steel Bones said, Laughing Bat laughed wildly. He had already expected this to happen, because Laughing Bat would predict everything. Barbatus, the god of darkness, came to the battlefield. Cyborg did not lead everyone to fight hard. He opened the Sonic Boom channel. This time, they will take a detour. This guy was originally called the Laughing Bat. This Bruce called the Laughing Bat should be the crazy Bruce. Could it be that Bruce is afraid of what would happen if he turned evil? This answer is very close to the answer in Bruce's heart. Chapter 913 Constantine's Awakening. There are many kinds of blackening, and the Laughing Bat on the screen is the one Bruce is most worried about. Image continues. Dark Multiverse. Batman has been trapped in a nightmare for 30 years. He is like a candle in the wind, his body and soul are drained. Wake up, old man, we are here to save you. Superman's voice rang in Batman's ears, but there are 3 of them. They are the Nightmare Supermen born from Superman's fear. They tell Bruce a good news. Superman has become the best battery now, and the drained Batman has no use value, so he will not be imprisoned in nightmares, because garbage should be thrown into the garbage dump. But what the Nightmare Supermen don't know is that this is the stupidest thing they have done. They want to throw Batman into the dark abyss. But Batman breaks free and snatches one of Superman's gloves. I recognized you at the first sight. You are Clark's fear. Batman's old voice echoed in the dark multiverse. All these things on you are my inventions. Because Clark has seen these inventions that frightened him in the Batcave, such as this glove. The gloves are inlaid with 4 kryptonites, blue, green, yellow, and red. Each kryptonite can cause great damage to Superman. You didn't prepare such a set of things in your world? Bruce remained silent, and it was unknown whether he agreed. Bruce was thinking, why are there so many colors of kryptonite? It seems that it is not enough to prepare the primary green kryptonite. Let's go back and study how to develop kryptonite of multiple colors. The video continues. Nightmare Superman didn't dare to step forward for a while because they all knew how powerful the glove was. Bruce approached Clark, who was tied up as a battery. He wanted to save Clark. The Nightmare Supermen seized this opportunity to approach Bruce. They were sure that Bruce would not let Superman get hurt. And Batman always has a plan. Morpheus. Batman yelled, and the two disappeared in an instant. What kind of technology is this? Don't look at me, I don't know. Bruce denied it flatly. He really didn't know what it was. That universe was much more complicated than the universe he was in, with countless superpowers competing for splendor. It was hard to say whether Bruce in that universe got this ability from a superpower person or a technological criminal who could teleport. Morpheus, damn. Isn't that the god of dreams? Exclamation mark. Constantine's eyes widened, and he finally sobered up a little from that state of drunkenness. How did this guy get involved with Morpheus? He also slept with Morpheus like me. Image continues. Eternal Holy Rock. Diana came here again. They have to defeat the 7 deadly sins guarding it and get the N metal prop, Hawkman's hammer. Just after the two defeated the 7 deadly sins, a powerful cosmic energy descended from the sky. When the two turned around, they found that Kendra was holding the Anti-Monitor's astral brain. She was going to throw the brain into the Rock of Eternity. When pure antimatter passes through the center of the multiverse and hits the dark multiverse, the darkness will be blown away forever. This is also the task given to her by the Immortal Council. Wonder Woman and Dr. Fate hurried forward to stop it, but the next second, Kendra knelt on the ground with a painful look on her face, and the Anti-Monitor's brain rolled on the ground. But now no one cares about the brain anymore, because the scene in front of them made everyone drop their jaws. Black wings grew from Kendra's back, and a metal exoskeleton covered Kendra's whole body. Emotionless words came from Kendra's body. I'm Black Hawk Girl, and all roads will lead to darkness. Kendra's pessimism about the future gave Barbatus the opportunity to take advantage of the opportunity. Dr. Fate wanted to cast a spell to save Kendra, but was struck by lightning, and his body disappeared instantly, leaving only a helmet falling to the ground. Today, no one can be saved. A man wearing a black cloak and emitting magical electric light all over his body appeared. Black Adam. Atlantis. There are corpses everywhere here, and those corpses were the best warriors when they were alive. This is the tomb of Atlantis, the tomb of the first Aquamanarian. Aquaman never expected that this place could not escape the clutches of the Dark Bat. Wow, I didn't expect that there would be a murder case here. No, it's a fish killing case. By the way, do you really not need a new instructor? When he came to the coffin, Aquaman was still hesitating about where to start, and Deathstroke had already stabbed a sword into the coffin of the first Aquaman. Under the shining of orange light, Deathstroke looked so weird at this moment. Wait. Tony suddenly found out why he always felt that Deathstroke looked a little familiar. From this angle, isn't this the guy named Deadpool? Yes. Under the lighting, Deathstroke's battlesuit now appears red, and the tone and demeanor of Deathstroke's complaints are really like a person. If that guy can really be called a person instead of some ultimate life form. Hey. Hello. Peter decided to practice what he preached, and he shouted directly to the Deathstroke on the screen. Mr. Wade, you're running around the set again, aren't you? Unfortunately, Deathstroke had no intention of responding at all. Aquaman was furious when he saw Deathstroke's move. It's okay that this guy didn't help along the way, and he kept talking nonsense with me, and now he's actually doing something to his ancestor's coffin. When the angry Aquaman pressed Deathstroke's head against the coffin, Deathstroke said calmly, "Calm down, furious scaly man, take a closer look." Deathstroke pointed down and said, "There is a portal underneath. I can already feel the end metal underneath." In the Senegan Empire of the Polaris Galaxy, Green Lantern, Mr. Excellence and the Plastic Man Zeg are on their way to see the ruler of the Empire, because the end metal is in his hand. The ruler Scene met them, and the two explained their purpose, to which Scene said they were late. "I have implanted all the end metal into my body. You are late." "What? Why?" "Because our ancestors were much more far-sighted than you. I thought about it. In fact, the content of black metal is a bit too hardcore, mainly because this thing is not a veteran fan who can't recognize the heroes in it. Even if you haven't read DC Comics, you have at least heard of benchmark heroes like Batman and Superman. Wonder Woman, Cyborg, Aquaman and others are a little better, at least there are movies. But Hawkman, Dr. Fate, and Arcmaster, you don't see them often enough to know who they are. And the Anti-Monitor and Oneroi, these are similar to Eternity and Death in Marvel. They are not about combat power, but appearance rate. These guys are all characters mixed in the big background. The invincible Galactus can only rely on dying a few more times to get an appearance rate, unless there are publications specifically involving them, such as Emperor Thanos. Otherwise, it's difficult. Chapter 914, Death and Rebirth. Scene showed them a weapon, a super powerful cannon. Our ancestors had observed the existence of the dark multiverse many years ago and racked their brains to prevent them. Finally, we came up with a brilliant idea to build a cannon. Build a cannon that is unparalleled in the world. Build a cannon that can end the darkness. It has been aimed at the core of the earth for centuries. When it blows up the earth, your darkness will have nowhere to invade, and the universe will naturally be safe. Of course, to start this great plan, you must have something, such as an energy source. After speaking, Scene looked at the egg of the plastic man. The surrounding guards rushed forward. This was itself a plan of Scene. He deliberately released the breath of end metal in his body to attract the Justice League and wipe them out. Hal was tricked, his thinking continuity was interrupted, and the lantern ring could not condense his will. This plan is full of flaws. Yeah, let's not talk about how he was sure that the Plastic Man's egg would definitely go. He didn't consider what he would do if it wasn't these two people with unknown combat power, but Superman. And if it was any nightmare bat from the Dark Knights, this planet would most likely be destroyed. The video continues. Batman and Superman now came to the realm of Daniel, the god of dreams. He took them to Lucien's library, which recorded stories that should never be told, stories that were born from the darkest fears. These stories should never appear, but because of Barbatus's conspiracy, these stories became reality. Now this library has begun to burn. When these books burn out, the entire universe will be swallowed by darkness. The god of dreams took out a handful of powder from his pocket and blew it at the two of them. He said apologetically, "I can't fight alongside you, but I can give you an extremely powerful weapon. That is, there is a story." The starry sky fell, and countless stars formed a picture scroll. Flashes of light were born in the darkness, and these flashes created two opposite existences, matter and antimatter. A pair of brothers followed, whose duty was to monitor everything. In addition, there was a third person, whose mission was to guard the future, and he lived in the furnace. In that place, called the Dark Multiverse, over the endless years, the third person used the hopes and fears of all living things to forge countless universes. Those beautiful and hopeful universes were preserved, while those twisted and deformed universes were put back into the furnace by his pet dragon and destroyed. And the name of this pet dragon is Barbatus. Barbatus, is he just a pet? Not surprising. Don't forget the duty of the third person, which is to create universes one by one, and destroy those dark universes. It's not hard to understand that the pet of such a powerful person is a dark demon god. Temple of Creation. Arceus stared at the third person who was creating the universe on the screen. This was a way of creation he had never thought of. Use all the hopes and fears of life as raw materials, and finally create different universes. There is no time to lose and do it. Arceus started with the initial collection, and he also saw Dr. Manhattan's barrage on the screen, and he also had similar ideas. Drive Manhattan. My initial creation plan was to create a universe by creating a singularity explosion, but the creation plan on the screen gave me a feeling that he might be the source of the birth of my universe. Arceus, do you want to learn it too? I have prepared a lot of materials, and I'm about to start trying. Drive Manhattan, don't panic, we have plenty of time, we can take it slowly. Barbatus became the demon who destroyed the world, but the third party did not appear to stop it. Obviously, there are other reasons. For example, the third party has been killed by Barbatus, and we must also prevent this situation from happening. Arceus was stunned. Among the things he had never considered in his long years was being killed by someone. He had seen his own death, or rebirth. After endless years, the expansion of the universe reached a limit, and his power had declined to a limit. So he destroyed all the worlds, integrated them back into his body, and finally turned into a primitive embryo, waiting for the next reincarnation to begin. But being killed was not within his consideration. Interesting, being killed by the creatures he created. The image continues. There was only destruction in Barbatus' eyes. He killed his master, after who knows how many years. He left behind those universes that should have been destroyed, and the furnace dimmed as a result. And the metal in the furnace is crucial. It is the most powerful weapon, the 10th metal. The metal that the Justice League is looking for is actually the 9th metal, and the metal used by the gods of Earth is the 8th metal below it. That's why the gods can't hurt the dark bats, but the nth metal can, because their grades are higher. So, as long as we can enter the furnace and get the 10th metal, even Barbatus and his dark bats will be powerless to resist. How are we going to get there? In response to Bruce's question, Dream God said, I can send you to the furnace, but you must be full of hope on the way there. Otherwise, not only will you not be able to reach the furnace, you will also be lost in the dark universe. Then let's go. No. Superman's confident tone was indeed met with Batman's rejection. Clark looked at Bruce puzzledly. He didn't know what plans his old friend had. But no, Batman turned his back. He had no plan. 30 years. 30 years of endless nightmares. I have faced countless failed lives. I'm sorry, Clark. I no longer have the energy to continue chasing. Bruce, those nightmares were all allowed by Barbatus to make you give up on yourself. Those were all his conspiracies. You are Batman, the Batman who never gives up. Clark, with his temples completely grey, begged Bruce, who was already an octogenarian. The real Batman will definitely lead us to save our home. Home. Chapter 915, Plastic Man. Batman, who had been lost in his dreams for decades, thought of Damian, his son, the child he was most proud of, after hearing the word home. My child, his future will be full of hope. He will be better than me, right? Maybe I failed, but this can't erase some things, such as the bond between me and my family. The two stepped into the passage and embarked on the journey to the furnace. I'm so glad you're back, old friend. Don't be sentimental to me. I'm Batman. We are going to complete the mission. The two came to the furnace. Yes, this journey is not long. Because Superman, who never gives up hope, and Batman, who never gives up, are here. But when the two finally arrived at the furnace, they found that it had already fallen into endless darkness. A loud rumble sounded behind Batman. I'm Carter Hall, the Dragon of Barbatus, the Guardian of the Dark Forge. Here, there is only the end of all things. A giant holding a smelting hammer appeared behind the two of them. He was like a giant eagle, exuding a breath of destruction. He is the long-lost Hawkman, the forger of the end metal hammer. Clark clenched his fists. For some reason, when he heard "never give up hope," his heart suddenly felt something, as if this would become an important message for the future. Hope. The video continues. Gotham City, this chaotic and crazy Sin City, is now dead silent. Barbatus hovered on the cosmic tuning fork, and Bruce's voice came from the ground. My master, the time has come. It's time to howl, and summon the Dark Army, to cover the world with darkness. As the laughing bat finished speaking, Barbatus opened his huge mouth, and a breath of destruction slowly rose from his dark mouth. Ha 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 ha, master, ha 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 ha, master. Looking at Barbatus above, the laughing bat laughed wildly in his heart. Barbatus is just a pawn. All of this is his plan. In the Synagogue Empire prison, Hal, who was trapped in the prison, kept driving the lantern ring, but every time he began to concentrate, he would be affected and become an idiot, making it impossible to exert the power of the lantern ring. Hal couldn't figure out why the Plastic Man's egg was targeted. Plastic Man is my good friend, Mr. Excellence said. He was originally just a petty thief and then fell into a barrel full of chemicals. When he climbed out of the barrel, his body mutated due to the stimulation of the chemicals, allowing him to gain the ability to change his molecular structure at will. So, his body has also become the best conductor of dark energy. If Mr. Excellence is serious, then everyone's mood now can be said to be extremely complicated. Bruce was thinking. Luckily he didn't crawl out laughing. Peter was thinking, what on earth is that chemical? It's amazing. Tony was thinking, is that thing really a chemical instead of an infinity stone? Doom was dumbfounded. What the hell is that? I practiced so hard, but I can't catch up with a bucket of chemical? Doom couldn't understand why he could gain such a magical ability just by jumping into a chemical and soaking for a while. Although he didn't have a high degree, he still knew what molecules were. If he could change the molecular structure in his body at will, then this guy could turn himself into any substance with an own molecular formula. He could make himself as light as a swallow, or he could make himself as strong as iron in an instant. Maybe lightning and fire were a little difficult for him to control, but he could easily switch to direct insulating materials, such as pure water, such as ore, or high-strength objects that don't absorb heat. Doom could think of countless ways to use the abilities of the Plastic Man, even if he just thought about it. He thought that the reason why Plastic Man was called Plastic Man was probably because it was a metaphor that the molecules in Plastic Man's body could be pulled and restored at will like super strong rubber. However, Molecule Man seemed to sound better. It was impossible that he had such a magical ability, but in the end he just turned his body into a piece of rubber and went to fight like Reed, right? No way, no way, no way. Image continues. Since the dark power soared on Earth, all kinds of evil thoughts began to flood into his mind. In order not to be invaded by nightmares, Plastic Man chose to turn into an egg. He vibrates millions of times every second because he is fighting against millions of dark turbulences in his body. He is a hero. When Green Lantern heard this, he began to worry about Plastic Man. His power was now sealed, and Plastic Man had also turned into an egg. If Plastic Man was hurt, then you too. The two turned their heads and saw a birdman wearing the armor of the Synagogue Empire Guard. Who are you? I'm your old friend, Hal. The birdman's body changed, and an alien with green skin and blue skin appeared in front of the two. It's the alien that appeared in the Justice League. It seems he is on our side. Marty and Manhunter. He has been studying this planet in the Senegang galaxy. Martian Manhunter snapped his fingers and helped Green Lantern isolate the interference of consciousness. Haha, I knew my luck couldn't be so bad all the time. Hal was very happy to see his old friend who had disappeared for a long time. The three of them joined forces to fight their way out of the siege and found the egg of the plastic man controlled by Cyan. After a good exchange of ideas among the three, Cyan took the initiative to hand over the egg. What should we do next? Reverse the giant cannon. Wait, someone has modified the giant cannon. Yes, it's sus. As soon as the Martian Manhunter finished speaking, the dark portal opened in the air, and the Destroyer, the Merciless War Demon and the Dawnbreaker Lantern walked out of the darkness. At this time, the giant cannon started. Blood red energy directly hits the earth. We've been plotted. Damn it. Although they have all turned evil, in essence, they are still Bruce, with a plan. It's not hard to understand. Image continues in Atlantis. After dismantling the coffin of Aquaman's ancestors, Deathstroke told Aquaman, your ancestor's coffin is fake, and underneath it, there is something we want. After a long journey, the two of them actually came all the way to the depths of the earth. Obviously, the environment here is definitely not something that normal people can survive, but fortunately, the two of them are definitely not ordinary people, and they found a machine here. 1. Sunmaker. Chapter 916. Eagle Man. The scientific name of this thing seems to be a nuclear fission simulator. Aquaman ignored this nagging guy. After a while of groping, he finally found the switch of the device. After turning off the small sun, the two stepped forward to take down the end metal. It's so smooth. I really didn't expect that the biggest obstacle along the way was your mouth. Aquaman looked at the end metal in his hand and said to the bell beside him, I have made plans to die in battle, but the only thing that can threaten my life is your nonsense. You'd better not say that. The bell said, as we all know, generally speaking, after saying that there is no threat and it's so smooth, it's bound to be unsuccessful. This is circulated in our mercenary industry. A cold arrow shot directly into the back of the bell, and then another arrow shot into the abdomen of the Sea King. A guy in a black diving suit walked in. Black Manta? Aquaman looked at this old enemy who had been fighting with him for half his life, and he persuaded him earnestly, if you want to kill me, I will give you my life, after solving the crisis on Earth. But we really can't fight each other now. Fighting? Black Manta sneered and said, the premise of fighting is that we are a team, but it is obvious that we are not on the same front. Barbatus and I made an agreement. I will come to trouble you. After the matter is done, I can get a flooded Earth. I think this is a good deal. You idiot. Arthur endured the severe pain in his abdomen. He estimated that this thing was also made of end metal. The ability to break defense of this thing was too outrageous. By the way, several of my colleagues want to see you. As the voice of Black Manta fell, with the appearance of a red lightning, the killing machine, the drowned soul, and the Red Death appeared here. After a long journey, we meet again. The drowned ghost raised the trident in his hand, ready to give Arthur a fatal blow. I'm afraid that except for Bruce, everyone else will be wiped out. Everyone didn't expect that the other party would actually calculate the Justice League to death. However, thinking about the previous Dawn of Justice, Bruce relied on calculations to almost force the invincible Clark into a desperate situation. Considering that there are 7 monsters on the surface, but actually 7 Bruces with no bottom line, it seems not difficult to understand that the Justice League is being controlled to death. The video continues. The Rock of Eternity. The terrifying shockwave rolled in all directions. Even if this is the Rock of Eternity, it began to shake under the influence of this shockwave. Black Adam lay on the ground like a dead dog, and Diana's face was filled with anger that had not yet dissipated. The invasion of the Dark Bat, the repeated defeats of the Justice League, Kendra's betrayal and Black Adam's sneak attack. Nothing has been going well for Wonder Woman these days. Wonder Woman never gives up, but that doesn't mean she won't get angry. After hammering Black Adam into insanity, Diana tried to persuade Kendra to change her mind. Kendra had no intention of wavering in the face of Diana's persuasion, and Black Adam, who had recovered, made a sneak attack with magic lightning, which blasted Diana hundreds of meters away. Diana was blasted into the wall. She struggled to get up, and was attracted by the light behind her. This is a secret room. No one expected that there was a mezzanine inside the wall, and here, a magical artifact was stored. Black Adam attacked again, but this time it was not Diana's fist that greeted Black Adam, but Hawkman's hammer. Black Adam was swung away by a hammer, and the lightning released was absorbed by Hawkman's hammer. In addition to the almost indestructible characteristics of this hammer made of metal, it also has the effect of absorbing all energy. Really good. Diana shook the weapon, that could be ranked among the best in the entire multiverse, and suddenly a gunshot rang out, and Wonder Woman fell to the ground. Big surprise, Diana. Ha 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 ha. The black leather boots stepped on Diana's red cape, and the crazy laughter echoed in the eternal rock. I have treaded many universes, and naturally I have seen countless you and me. In most universes, you and I are comrades in arms, and in some universes, we are enemies. Of course, there must be a world where we have children together, such as the ruthless war demon. Oh, and the world where I'm the mother and you are the father. The multiverse is full of wonders. Do you know, Diana? The sneak attacker squatted in front of Diana. I have seen too many of you. No matter which universe you are in, you have one characteristic, that is, even if everyone falls, you will fight to the end. Diana looked up. It was a pale face with a crazy smile. You should still remember me. Cyborg calls me the laughing bat. Ha, a bunch of stupid guys gave me a stupid name. Are you confused? I know. You are not confused about why I can hurt you with a gun. This bullet is made of the 8th metal, which is exactly the same metal used in the gods' artifacts, such as the crown on your head. You must be wondering why you can't dodge it? Because this is also part of my plan. Ha 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 ha. The laughing bat picked up Hawkman's fallen hammer and listened with interest to Diana's gritted teeth retort. In this universe, I'm not the only one fighting. There are also my partners. We are fighting as well. There is no personal edition of the laughing bat. Bruce frowned. Among the 7 dark bats, only the laughing bat, who he thought was the most dangerous, did not have a personal edition. He already knew how the laughing bat was born, and even him. Bruce suddenly thought of a terrifying possibility. Could he be the predecessor of the laughing bat? The wild laughter echoing in his mind seemed to be about to sound again, and Bruce immediately activated the forbidden device in his mind to dispel the laughter. Although he had already installed lethal weapons in his heart and brain, Bruce was still afraid when he saw the guy's performance. The video continues. In the furnace, Batman and Superman are fighting against Carter Hall, the former greatest explorer in the universe and now the Dragon of Barbatos. Wake up. You are the greatest explorer of this universe, not a lackey of Barbatos. Hawkman muttered to himself. I traveled through the multiverse and received a distress message from the dark multiverse. The moment I came here, I understood my mission. I'm Carter Hall. Guarding the furnace that breeds the new life of the universe is my lifelong mission. It is obvious that Hawkman has been possessed by the devil. He was pulled into an endless dream by Barbatos, and finally his mind was worn out by endless nightmares in the nightmare cycle, and he fell into the abyss of darkness, and became a pawn of Barbatos. The furnace is about to go out, Bruce. Superman led Batman to a relatively safe step. At this time, the last glimmer of light in the furnace was about to disappear. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 917. Scream Out Loud. The video continues. Hawkman's hammer keeps swinging, smashing the rocks where the Titan land. Every time they jump to the place they are most afraid of, or the place with the weakest spot in their hearts. Crime Alley, Superman's hometown. Many heroes have got him. As time goes by, Superman can't bear it anymore and starts to turn his head to persuade Bruce to turn back, but the old Batman drags his old body and keeps jumping with a firm will. He firmly believes that the 10th metal mentioned by the god of dreams must still be in the furnace, and they must rush in. Another 80 hammers fell. This time, Batman and Superman could only barely dodge. Batman fell down, not because his will was shaken, but because his body couldn't bear it. He is old, and the 30 years of nightmare reincarnation has put his body on the verge of collapse. The firmness of his will cannot change the fact that his body is aging, but even so, Bruce is still encouraging Superman not to give up. I want to keep fighting, but Bruce, the furnace is out. Superman knelt down beside Bruce, his face full of despair. We failed. We lost hope. Bruce. No failure. We are still alive. There is still hope. Batman's body, which had been drained of the last bit of strength, suddenly regained strength, as if it were a last gasp. Facing Hawkman, who was swinging a giant hammer and roaring to send them into the furnace, Bruce angrily scolded this former hero. When Hawkman was stunned by his mouth cannon, Batman looked at Superman, and Superman knew what his old friend was going to do. Then, let's go together. Old man. Charge. For the children. Bruce and Clark jumped, and they chose to jump into the furnace on their own initiative, even if they were torn to pieces. Did you see it? Diana. The laughing bat projected the situation of the Justice League to Diana. He wanted to destroy Diana's heart and make Diana fall with it. This would give him an unprecedented sense of accomplishment. The Phoenix Cannon has been fired, the artificial sun device deep in Atlantis has also been activated, and Carter Hall's Zen metal hammer has also been deployed. A poker card appeared in the hand of the laughing bat, and the poker card was painted with the heads of the Justice League members hanging on the iron spear. In the plan of the laughing bat, all the Zen metal that could hurt them returned to the hands of the dark bats after the efforts of the Justice League. After the unremitting efforts of the Justice League, the Dark Universe finally obtained all the Zen metal. It's really interesting, isn't it? Barbatus has begun to howl, and the Dark Army is about to descend on the Earth. The laughing bat is very sure that everything is in his plan. The wheel of fate has begun to turn, and everything will go to darkness. The laughing bat did not kill Diana, but instead brought the crown back to Diana's head. He did not finish off the knife. He didn't care, and he wanted to see Diana's dying struggle. When the laughing bat left, the seriously injured Diana faced the Black and Hawk General Kendra alone. Diana, who knew the situation of her teammates, was just as the laughing bat said. Even at this point, she still refused to give up. Surrender? Diana took out the lasso of truth and tied it to her hands. The golden light lit up, and Kendra was knocked down by a punch. When Kendra stood up again, she had regained her sanity. Never. Diana pulled Kendra up and said, that guy's plan definitely didn't have this link. Next, where are we going? Faced with Kendra's questioning, after regaining her sanity, Diana said a word in a firm tone. Dark multiverse. Since there are Dark Bats and Dark Superman, there is naturally Dark Wonder Woman. Looking at Diana, the nightmare of each universe, Kendra asked Diana what she should do now. And Diana's answer was simple. There is only one thing to do now. What? Scream. With a war cry that shook the entire dark multiverse, the two rushed into the crowd. This is what Diana wanted those bastards to hear. Her deafening battle cry, not a wail. Wonder Woman and Kendra have been fighting here for dozens of hours. On the Earth of the main universe, Barbatus's howl summoned countless dark creatures, and the rest of the Justice League was defeated by the Nightmare Bats. I suddenly remembered something. Diana said, covering her wound. If the dark bats really caught everyone else, then my companions should be nearby now. As she spoke, Hawkman's hammer hit Diana's divine wristband, and the collision between the 9th metal and the 8th metal formed the most beautiful musical note. Wake up, heroes. The heroes of justice were awakened, and the GD counterattack began. Countless dark monsters and the heroes of the Justice League fought together, and Mr. Excellence shouted, old friend, it's your turn. Dinosaur, bulldozer, shark, anything you want. With a loud bang, a huge monster suddenly appeared, and the completely transformed plastic man killed everyone in all directions. Countless soldiers were swallowed by him. Although this thing makes people lose their sanity, it is quite good for clearing soldiers. Seeing the plastic man killing everyone, people did not feel excited, but confused. There are basically no people with low education here. Those with low education have been remedied by those with high education. They know more or less what the plastic man's ability to control molecules in the body at will means. So they can't understand the plastic man's behavior of turning himself into a strange monster that makes people lose sanity when he opens it to clear soldiers. Do you really treat yourself as plastic? Are you awake? Or can you go to college? The video continues. Plastic Man tells Wonder Woman and Kendra that he felt a very strong signal when he was still an egg, and there must be something important there. You two must hurry over here. Plastic Man roared, because I can't hold Darkseid anymore. Yes, even Darkseid showed up. Although it's just a low profile knockoff, not the real thing, the opponent's strength is still terrifying. Right square bracket. Chapter 918, Arceus, laughing as wildly as I do. In the core of the furnace, Batman and Superman are about to melt. Diana came to the furnace through the portal. She wanted to help, but was blocked by Hawkman. Hawkman's strength was terrifying. He swung 80 hammers and kept attacking Diana, but he suddenly stopped. It's Kendra. Kendra's nickname is Hawkgirl. Kendra called Hawkman and kept calling out Carter Hall's real name. The darkness in Hawkman's eyes gradually faded, and his consciousness was constantly recovering, but Barbatus would never allow Hawkman, who was guarding the furnace, to betray him. A huge black lightning fell on Hawkman. If you don't surrender, you will die. The dark monsters poured in and merged with Diana and Kendra, and they were unable to stand alone. Wonder Woman, who had just knocked away a Darkseid that looked like Superman, was captured by another Darkseid of herself, the zombie Flash, the killer Green Arrow, and the cowgirl Wonder Woman. The killer Green Arrow raised his hand and shot an arrow at Wonder Woman. Although this thing would not cause Wonder Woman to be injured, there was an Omega Ray following the arrow. I don't know which dark version of Darkseid is coming. Wonder Woman has the confidence to resist the arrow, but she does feel powerless for the Omega Ray. She tried hard to struggle out of the opponent's control, but more Darkseids rushed up. Even if it was one for many, they would kill Wonder Woman. Boom. A violent explosion sounded, and a batarang detonated the Omega Ray. Bruce? Wonder Woman looked along the flying trajectory of the batarang, and then she saw the Joker's ecstasy. Countless Batmen fell from the sky. Red Sun Batman, Victoria Batman, Vampire Batman, Dark Knight Batman. Poking the bat's nest. Diana, surprise. Cyborg and Flash were not offline for so long. They traveled through countless universes and found countless righteous Batmans. They knew that only Batman could defeat Batman. Wonder Woman jumped into the furnace, and a dazzling light burst out of the furnace. Even if the furnace lights up again, this world is still under my control. Barbatus howled, and a voice came from the furnace. Don't be delusional. 3 white figures flew out of the furnace. They were Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, who were possessed by the 10th metal. Batman and Superman were possessed by the 10th metal, and their combat power returned to the peak. The 10th metal on the 3 gave them the power to tear the darkness. 2 cloud dragons flew forward, spitting green flames from their mouths. Barbatus was terrified. That was the 10th metal. The 10th metal that could defeat him. The clown dragon was punched away by Batman, and his nose was crooked. Batman jumped onto the head of the clown dragon and easily drove the clown dragon around the battlefield. He flew towards the tied up Aquaman and Green Lantern, and 2 bat darts, made of the 10th metal, fell on them. The drowned souls were knocked away by Aquaman, and the killing machine was directly torn into pieces by Green Lantern. Dr. Fate, who was beaten to ashes before, appeared and saved the Teen Titans. Nightwing and Hibernation saved the Suicide Squad. As the heroes were liberated, the moment of the decisive battle came. Barbatus opened his mouth and was about to let out the strongest roar, but before the roar was formed, he was blown away by Carter Hall, who had regained his will, with a sledgehammer. Arsehole, this is the price you have to pay for what you did to me. Where's the laughing bat? Bruce's eyes swept across the entire battlefield. Here, only the laughing bat was missing. Did that guy run away? No. Bruce shook his head. The Batman who laughs gives me the feeling that he is the most like me, so he must have even crazier plans. But, you have basically completed everything after fusing with the dark version of the Justice League. Could it be that the Batman who laughs has the ability to fuse with a particularly powerful hero? The Hawkman? From the dark monsters that appeared before, I can also see other dark Batman, but they all have the abilities of opponents I have encountered, such as Mr. Freeze. I know who the Batman who laughs is, a combination of me and who I am, so he is the most dangerous one. Villain? It can't be a fusion of you and Darkseid. Faced with this ridicule, Bruce said, even if it is a fusion with Dr. Manhattan, it may not be able to defeat the Batman who laughs. Because the person who merged with him is. Image continues. Explosion is art, don't you think? The Monitor was tied to a chair by the Batman who laughs. He seemed so powerless in front of the Batman who laughs. The Batman who laughs threw the objects in his hands up and down, waiting for the instrument to be completed. This is your brother's brain. Do you want to taste it? The thing in the hand of the laughing bat is the brain of the anti-Monitor. He intends to use the brains of the Monitor and the anti-Monitor to create a big explosion that can blow up the whole world. When positive and negative matter annihilate each other, everything will cease to exist. The multiverse. It's just darkness. The laughing bat is debugging the machine calmly. Everything is in the plan of the laughing bat. Can this be called a bat cave? Batman walked in here. He looked at the decorations around with contempt and expressed his disapproval of the extremely bad taste of the laughing bat. The 10th metal armor on Batman has disappeared. Here, in the Batcave of the laughing bat, the 10th metal, that even Barbatus fears has been offset. It can also be called a seal or suppression, but no matter what, the laughing bat has the ability to resist the 10th metal. Haha, it seems that you are not very surprised about the disappearance of the 10th metal. The laughing bat looked at Batman. How could there be no plan to fight against the 10th metal in his plan? He was not panicked by Batman's reaction. As the Batman of the main universe, it would be meaningless if he panicked because of the disappearance of a few pieces of broken copper and rotten iron. Peter looked at the power that sealed the 10th metal in the Batcave of the laughing bat. He found that this seemingly ordinary dark bat was so terrifying. Arceus, Bruce is right. The laughing bat is far more terrifying than the other dark bats. To explain it in more popular and easy to understand words, the position of the 10th metal is extremely powerful. It is a divine artifact containing the power of creation, and the laughing bat can offset it, which means that the other party has mastered the same ability. Arceus, you can understand that the laughing bat can become my opponent. Loki Odinson, no way. You are the god of creation. Arceus, this is the difference in status. In my world, he is not as good as me, and in his world, I'm not as good as him. Who wins and who loses has nothing to do with strength. It only cares about something deeper. Bruce Wayne, what is that? Arceus, the thoughts of all living beings. You can understand it as popularity. Chapter 919, the clown appears. Wanda, popularity? Is it a problem of machine translation? Peter Parker, the thoughts of all living beings. Popularity. Arceus, this is just my guess, but when the power exceeds the universe's tolerance, the power is useless. Because they are invincible in their respective universes, they must use other things to decide the outcome. Logan, there are still some things I can't figure out. What's the benefit of that madman destroying the universe? Bruce Wayne, the laughing maniac is a complete madman. If you can understand the logic of madman, then there are only two possibilities: either you are also a madman, or he is not really a madman. The video continues. The ineffective 10th metal did not surprise Batman. No one can shake his determination to kill the laughing bat. The Robins were knocked down by a punch. Batman rushed to the laughing bat with a brisk step and smashed the laughing bat's jaw with a hook. The shattered jaw of the laughing bat did not stop him from laughing. He laughed and fought back, punching Bruce in the face until blood flowed. Batman bit the laughing bat's arm directly. Facing the laughing bat's kick, Batman's heavy punch hit the opponent's lower body directly. The laughing bat remained calm and hit Batman's temple with his backhand. The two bats started a bloody battle here. Every move was bloody and fatal. Batman's battles never had fancy moves, but only head-on confrontations. But Batman still fell into a disadvantage. Compared with Batman, the laughing bat was not bound by the no-kill principle and had stronger combat power. Seeing Batman trying to avoid the deadly position of the laughing bat because of the no-kill principle, Logan couldn't help it. Logan, no way. Why do you still care about the no-kill principle? He is a madman who wants to destroy the world. Bruce Wayne, yes, he is a madman, but he is me. Bruce Wayne, if you create a second laughing bat just to kill the laughing bat, don't you think it's not worth it? Logan was stunned. He killed as many people as he wanted, 2 sounds, but he didn't become the laughing Logan. The video continues. A pistol suddenly appeared in the laughing bat's hand, a gunshot rang out, and the bullet hit Bruce's abdomen. Look, this is the gun that killed my parents. The laughing bat put the pistol in front of him, as if he was admiring a priceless work of art. Now, I'm going to use this gun to send Bruce to reunite with his parents. The laughing bat aimed at Batman's temple, a gunshot rang out, and the laughing bat's arm was shot. The trajectory of the bullet shook, and the bullet deviated. You'd better call him the Chatterbox. The man in the purple suit leaned against the wall of the Batcave, one hand in his pocket while firing, and the other hand put the muzzle of the gun to his mouth, blowing away the smoke from the muzzle. Pale skin, dark green hair, and a smile that was somewhat similar to the laughing bat. To be honest, I quite like this version of the Batcave. The Joker appears. Don't tell anyone about what happened today. Batman looked at the Joker with a bat dart in his hand, and the Joker laughed in response. Ha 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 ha. I don't know if it's an illusion, but Batman actually felt that the Joker's smile was quite nice at the moment. At least compared to the laughing bat. The Joker blocked the laughing bat's attack with 2 knives in his hand, and Batman behind him stabbed the laughing bat with 3 bat darts. Then, facing the laughing bat's counterattack, the Joker directly corroded his weapon with poison gas, and cut off 4 fingers of the laughing bat with his 2 knives. The Batcave began to shake violently. The Dark Army outside was beaten by the heroes of the Justice League. Superman punched the Ravager away. Green Lantern showed Dawnbreaker the will and courage of the greatest Green Lantern in history. Aquaman pierced the drowned soul with his trident. Barbatus howled again, but this time it was because his chest was pierced by Kendra. The battle outside caused the Batcave to shake violently and crumble. Just when the Batcave was about to collapse, Batman ran out holding the Monitor, while the Joker was still fighting with the laughing bat. The rescued Monitor told everyone a secret, that is, the 10th metal actually exists in everyone's body. When the heroes connect with each other, they can save those human batteries that have become power towers. Then, the power of the 10th metal can pull the Earth that fell into the dark multiverse back to its original orbit. They succeeded, and the world returned to the way it was before the invasion of the Dark Knights. Barbatus was imprisoned at the bottom of the dark multiverse by the Monitor. What a wonderful ending. Ha 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 ha. Dark metal and fuck. That was the laughing bat. Yes, it was. This story is not over at all. Tony said, it's too sloppy. As sloppy as those crappy third-rate screenwriters who wrote a background with a very grand worldview, but in the later stage, they didn't have enough brains to think of an ending that could fill the gap, and finally could only write a bullshit ending to deal with it. The last scene seems to be the ending of Tigger. Bruce Wayne, I still care more about the setting of popularity. Arceus, this is a discovery I made in my long life. In my world, if a life has a firm belief in a certain thing, then the chance of success of this thing will increase. The more people who have a firm belief, the greater the chance of success. Arceus, if in my world, I will make a hypothesis. All the beings in the universe, whether they are laws or ordinary beings, whether they are giant metal monsters that can perform hundreds of billions of calculations per second or paramecium that can only think by instinct, if they gather together and have an idea at the same time, then this idea must be born. Dr. Manhattan, even you can't change this ending? Arceus, this is a paradox, because I'm also part of the world I created. So if I want to achieve the above, my ideas must also be counted, but in my world I'm almost omnipotent. Arceus, I must completely cut off my connection with the world to conduct that experiment. Arceus, and even if I cut off, it is almost impossible to make all the lives in the universe think completely the same way. Chapter 920, Marvel, Zombie Apocalypse. The information Arceus proposed was a bit far-fetched for everyone. Let's not talk about it for now, that's the matter of another multiverse. Let's just talk about the places where Arceus might need to use it. It's something that is only needed when two creator gods or powerful people with the status of creator gods fight each other. It's a bit unnecessary for ordinary people like them who haven't transcended this universe to think about it. Play in 1 minute, zombie apocalypse. Zombies? Tony thought for a while and said, those creatures in science fiction that violate the laws of physics? Tony originally had a strong resistance and contempt for those things. In his opinion, when creating the classic horror movie image of zombies, the creators wrote the settings completely at random. The initial version was still relatively normal, but the zombies in the later period were modified more and more outrageously. Apart from anything else, if they were really corpses, how could a corpse run faster than a human? All thanks to that zombie virus? This kind of behavior of writing a setting without thinking of reasonable logic and then blaming all the reasons on the setting made Tony very disdainful. As a scientist, although he has a lot of problems, he has all the qualities that a scientist should have. He is absolutely rigorous and serious. Peter didn't think much about it. Isn't that a mutated alien beast cell? Can he infect the Giant of Light? Zombie apocalypse on air. In the gray sky, Spider-Man hurriedly flew between high-rise buildings. Peter was holding on to his last breath and wanted to rush back home. He wanted to confirm the safety of his family because the outside was in chaos. Because the wound on his shoulder was constantly oozing blood. Therefore, every time the spider silk sprayed out of Peter's arm, blood would slide down. This action attracted many people in the city streets, who were extremely weird to stop and look up. They looked at Peter and let out a hungry roar, as if this was not a human, but a demon from hell. Among them, many climbed onto the burning car and raised their hands to grab him frantically. Damn it. These rotten bugs are like endless bacteria. Their sense of smell is very strong. I don't know how long I can hold on. If I fall, I will definitely be torn to pieces. Every time I release spider silk, my muscles feel like they are bitten by tens of thousands of ants. Peter could only relieve his inattention by constantly talking to himself. He swung his heavy body to the window of his home and then squatted at the window after collecting the spider silk. After a quick look, the stone in his heart fell. Fortunately, Jane and Aunt May were safe and sound, watching TV at home. They were watching their favorite comedy show on weekdays, with the volume turned up very loud. The sound completely covered the roars of the beasts and the disaster outside. Great, you are all okay. Peter frowned. Although he is not Spider-Man, he still knows how strong Spider-Man's ability is. In addition to having a Spider-Woman as a girlfriend, Peter has also seen many Spider-Men in another universe. Spider-Man has different identities, but the basic settings are almost the same, such as the super spider sense. What kind of thing can sneak attack a Spider-Man? Video continues. Peter's breathing suddenly became rapid. Originally, he planned to inform Jane and Aunt May to pack up and leave here with him. Then he would prepare to find friends and find a suitable shelter. But he couldn't speak a complete sentence, and the pain spread to his body. Countless black spots spread on Spider-Man's uniform. Peter, what happened to you? What happened? Jane, call an ambulance quickly. Peter must have been injured while catching criminals. He will be fine. The joy on Jane's face faded immediately. She threw down the potato chips and coconut milk in her hand and asked with panic. Aunt May was obviously more experienced. She immediately turned to the medical box. Peter was already unconscious. His pupils contracted violently. He didn't know how distorted his face was under the Spider-Man mask that symbolized justice. The dense black spots on his body were countless marks left by the boiling blood and flesh. He was like a moving volcano, and he could clearly feel that his skin and flesh were being separated. If it weren't for this combat uniform, he would definitely leave an indelible impression of a demon in the hearts of Jane and Aunt May. Jane, run. I can't control myself. Run. I told you to run. What are you still doing here? I'm so hungry. Then don't even think about leaving. The frightened Jane went forward and hugged Peter tightly. She thought love could overcome everything and allay the pain for the other person. She could use oaths and beliefs to comfort this frightened city hero and her boyfriend. But she was wrong. Peter was no longer a human being. Hungry. Although Peter's brain could still think, his hungry stomach had already been completely out of control. His body instinctively suppressed all thoughts, and the instinctive eating function took over everything. To him, Jane was just a piece of moving fresh meat. So, a hungry wolf and a sheep stayed together, only frantically hunting and raging. He spat out a ball of extremely smelly liquid, which was blood mixed with internal organs. Peter's mask was torn off by Jane's hand while struggling, revealing a hideous zombie. Blood covered every tooth, and he could feel the warmth in his mouth. The torn pieces of meat were swallowed into his stomach. Spider-Man's hunger was not reduced, but activated again after getting food. Experienced friends should know that when you are very hungry and eat a little bit of food, you will only become hungrier because your body thinks you have obtained a lot of food, and the body lacking nutrition and calories will drive you to constantly obtain more calories. Jane's body became blurred in just a few seconds. Peter. No, you are not him. Devil. You are a devil. You killed Jane. Aunt May also died in horror. The hero of the city seemed to have lost his former glory. Peter's tears flowed, mixed with the saliva dripping from his greedy gluttony, soaking Spider-Man's mask. Aunt May, Jane, I'm sorry, but it feels good to not be hungry. Silence. Silence swept the entire theater. If the dark Bat Knights brought pressure and fear like a mountain, then the zombie Spider-Man, who only killed 2 people, but could not compare with the dark Bat Knights in terms of numbers, brought a truly horrifying thriller. Chapter 921, The Zombie Spider-Man Who Eats His Family. Who is Aunt May? Some people present new. That's why they felt terrified. Tony thought about it. If a zombie with Spider-Man's strength, speed, agility, and spider sense appeared in the city, how would he deal with it? After careful calculation, the best solution is to use all the large-scale and powerful weapons that can be mobilized to destroy the entire city before the zombie Spider-Man roams to other cities. It won't work if it's too small, because the opponent can hide. It must be the kind with a large attack range that can't be avoided. Image continues. Compared to the zombie Spider-Man's home, the situation outside is even more terrifying. Superheroes such as Captain America and Hawkeye have all turned into extremely brutal zombies. They frantically devour the humans hiding on the streets, not letting go of any delicious food. A mother and daughter who were hiding in a hamburger restaurant found that the surroundings were particularly quiet and were about to walk from under the table to the kitchen when the glass window behind them suddenly made a huge shattering sound. Captain America's shield passed through their necks and was embedded in the huge menu wall. The mother and daughter were beheaded, and then the zombies wandering around rushed in. Hawkeye stood on the pile of corpses, and the sharp arrow also pierced the main driver's seat of the sports car that was speeding past. The sports car crashed into the position of the electric pole, and thick smoke billowed. A rich second-generation man dressed gorgeously opened the car door, touched the arrow feathers on his neck and fell out. Some zombies whose actions were delayed cheered for the superhero, and began to chop off their heads in large pieces. Eat. Eat. My soldiers. You will have strength only if you are full. Captain America. The food in this area is almost infected. Soldiers, move forward. Looking at himself on the screen, the Thor's hammer in Captain America's hand slipped to the ground. Soldiers, move forward. When the zombie Captain America shouted this sentence, it did not bring protection, but killing. What a great irony. Captain America, we must find out what happened on that Earth, so that we can prevent such things from happening in our world. Tony Stark. Yes, Captain, I felt a long time ago that we should change our goals, the Avengers, but if the world has become like this, how can we take revenge? Tony Stark, why can't we become preventers? Image continues at this time, on the asteroid M in outer space of the Earth. Magneto is in the control cabin, feeling regretful for his actions just now. Oh my god, what have I done? I opened Pandora's box, and all this is too late to regret. Previously, Magneto just wanted to infect humans with toxins, so that mutants could have a chance to defeat them. But what he never expected was that even mutants were infected. They also became beasts without human emotions, only knowing how to kill and eat. Through the screen monitoring the city, the infected mutants have a strong destructive ability. It is easy for one person to wipe out a tall building with blood. Some zombie mutants use their special abilities to paralyze the power of most of the city. Ordinary zombies follow the mutants. They don't care about humans or mutants. They only care about whether they have meat to eat. It is obvious that they can eat meat by following the powerful zombie mutants. The respect that mutants could not get in their lives turned into cruel injuries after death. It was so ironic that they could do it easily. Even the 2 researchers in the control cabin were so scared that they collapsed to the ground after seeing this scene. They couldn't think of it. The joy of the successful toxin research turned into a death carnival for the whole city. It's over. It's all over now. We are the culprit. It's impossible to research the serum now. The infected mutants are more difficult. They can't be controlled. Magneto took a deep breath, and his old body trembled a little. Every minute and every second countless families were destroyed. The warm weekend parent-child outing scene turned into a hell on Earth, where zombies were biting wildly. He wants to return to Earth to rescue those lives that were destroyed. Go, atone for your sins. The attention of everyone in the theater was instantly focused on Eric. This invisible character successfully attracted the attention of everyone present. Damn, this kid did it. Seeing this, Logan went to search Eric's bedroom without saying a word. He wanted to take precautions. Although Charles wanted to say that he didn't think Eric would be as extreme as the one on the screen and actually wanted to study biochemical weapons to exterminate mankind. But, forget it, let's just look through it and feel at ease. Charles was still very clear about the right and wrong. So if Eric really wanted to develop a virus that could turn the Earth into a hell on Earth, he would have to wipe out Eric's consciousness, even if he died together. The video continues. At this time, the Earth is already in chaos. When the zombie virus combines with the superpowers of superheroes or supervillains, the most terrifying monsters are born. The surviving superheroes and supervillains may escape for their lives, or call on their companions to try to solve this terrible disaster, and Nova is one of them. Nova also saw the massacre of zombies and hurried to find Spider-Man to discuss countermeasures. But as soon as he arrived at the familiar high-rise buildings, he found an unusual smell coming out. At this moment, Spider-Man's home has been soaked in blood, whether it is a sofa, TV, or the food on the table. The Spider-Man in front of him is holding his body like a large wolfhound and has eaten his relatives alive. Jane, who he once loved the most, has long been blurred. Nova was deeply shocked by the scene in front of him, and his voice was filled with anxiety and fear. Peter, what are you doing? You actually ate them. Zombie Spider-Man is still sane, but his body instinctively makes him unable to stop eating under the trend of hunger. Even though he heard the noise and knew that the other party was his best friend. I'm sorry, I'm really too hungry. I have to fill my stomach so that I can feel warm. What are you looking at? What's so good about it? Don't look at me like that. He took advantage of the other party's inattention and immediately opened his arms and spit out spider silk, hitting the other party out. There was a bang from the window. After seeing this, Nova immediately wanted to get away from the other party's hands. But he never thought that the power of zombie Spider-Man would be so terrifying. The zombie Spider-Man's hands were like a huge pair of pliers around his neck. Just as the two were about to fall, the zombie Spider-Man opened his mouth, and his sharp teeth were covered with minced meat and warm blood. The saliva fell down, carrying a strong stench. This is the trouble you asked for. Chapter 922. Daredevil dies at Nova. The video continues. Just when the zombie Spider-Man was about to bite Nova's face, Daredevil, who had been watching all this from the balcony, took out a heavy metal stick, which was his guide stick when he was a blind lawyer. He held the guide stick and hit the back of the zombie Spider-Man's head directly. The intense pain, if zombies still have the feeling of pain, distracted the zombie Spider-Man. He found that this guy in a red combat uniform was holding a sharp knife in his hand. The zombie Spider-Man vaguely felt that there was some danger, so he did not continue to attack forward. After Nova saw that she was successfully rescued, she immediately flew to the balcony on the top of the building and stroked her neck with her hand, as if to adjust. However, the smell of blood mixed with salted fish was really unbearable for him, so he immediately washed the wound with water from the reservoir next to him. At this time, Daredevil did not intend to let go of the Spider-Man who had turned into a zombie in front of him. I thought I would stop all this, and the three of us would be the greatest allies. Unexpectedly, it's too late. Peter, your story as the city hero Spider-Man ends here. After I finish you off, I'll be the one to clear the zombie crisis. Daredevil Matt, his father is a boxer. But like every low-level boxer, Matt's father not only doesn't make much money, but also suffers from injuries due to work. In order to survive, Matt's father took to the road of crime. Then Matt witnessed his father committing a crime again, and because he couldn't accept this fact, he ran to the road in panic. but at that time a transport vehicle loaded with chemicals happened to appear on the road. Young Matt's eyes were burned by chemicals, and he was completely blind, but Matt gained special sensory abilities because of a blessing in disguise. Even if he didn't need to see with his eyes, he still had the feeling of distinguishing the surrounding things. This ability is similar to radar sensing, which can help him depict the surrounding contours and make up for the defects in vision. Later, he worshipped the old man with a stick as his food and learned fighting skills from him. Matt completed his law studies. During the day, he was a kind blind lawyer who specialized in helping poor people to fight lawsuits for free. At night, Matt transformed into Daredevil, fighting criminals and upholding justice. When he found the city full of weeds and countless zombies crawling out of the ground, carrying a doomsday virus to destroy the world, Matt knew he had to do something. I'm going to eat you. Damn Daredevil. What are you pretending to be? Even if the senses of zombie Spider-Man were replaced by hunger, he still had the ability to think like a human. Compared with the thinking ability of humans, the fighting instinct of zombie Spider-Man became stronger because he was not bound by the principle of not killing. Zombie Spider-Man leaped over the wall and swooped down. According to his original fighting habits, he first covered the moving position with spiderwebs and then wanted to find the right opportunity to dig out the opponent's heart. Daredevil was not merciful, but immediately slashed at the opponent with his weapon, using the ultimate speed, accuracy, and ruthlessness. Even if Spider-Man's web only took a few tenths of a second to reach Daredevil, it could not resist his dodging skills. Daredevil was always able to predict the attack before the spiderweb arrived, and then dodge it smoothly. After seeing the fight between the two of them, Nova also wanted to move forward to help. But for Nova, it was obvious that some of the steps were delayed by emotions. Nova had no way to kill her former friend. After struggling for a while, he was ready to release the big move to eliminate Spider-Man in an instant so that the other party would leave without pain. Only in this way, he would not see the pain of death on the other party's face again. Nova guessed that he would live in regret and self-blame for the rest of his life. If he arrived at the other party's house earlier, would all this not have happened? However, what Nova did not know was that his hesitation harmed Daredevil. During the battle, Daredevil discovered that the opponent's ability had greatly improved. No, it's better to say that it was unblocked than to say it was improved. The shackles that Spider-Man Peter Parker created with his own sense of morality were removed. But now, zombie Spider-Man will not feel any pain, whether it is the pressure of the body or the deformity after the bones are twisted. Even when a knife was inserted into the eyeball, zombie Spider-Man did not stop the way of baring teeth and claws. On the contrary, because of gradually liberating himself, Spider-Man's power became more and more terrifying, and now he can directly hit a sonic boom with his bare hands. Zombie Spider-Man took the opportunity to grab his chest and bite his shoulder. Daredevil wanted to take this opportunity to tie up the opponent with the red rope he carried with him. In this way, even if he cannot defeat the opponent for the time being, he can prevent this guy from harming more humans. Nova, why don't you come and help? What are you still doing there? His strength is too great. He is simply a smaller version of the Hulk. I feel that if he is given some more time to eat, his abilities will probably increase even more. This virus is terrible. Far from making them hungry and crazy, it can also increase their abilities. Come quickly, take my knife and stab his heart, and then destroy his head. You will also become a zombie. Even if there are people I love the most in my hungry stomach, I still need more people to live in it, and I can't stop this desire for food. No one can escape the fate of evolution. I didn't get infected, or let Spider-Man die. Instead, I exist in another form. Why can't those humans I saved give me back to repay me? The zombie Spider-Man laughed strangely and licked Daredevil's mask with his entire tongue. Daredevil suddenly felt a rope in his hand loosen a little, and he looked up quickly. The zombie Spider-Man was seen chewing the red rope in his rotten mouth. This special material was like paper wax in the zombie Spider-Man's mouth. When the bondage broke in the middle, Daredevil could only retreat. Nova. Daredevil placed his hopes on Nova, but he didn't expect that the opponent's procrastination would completely harm him. Daredevil was quickly stuck by the zombie Spider-Man and bit on the back, and a large piece of flesh was torn off. Chapter 923. Even if they become zombies, the Avengers can't escape the Civil War. At the moment of being bitten, Daredevil felt that his sense of smell was unusually sensitive. To be precise, he was particularly sensitive to a certain smell. That was the smell of fresh flesh and blood. The zombie virus can be transmitted through blood, and the back has a very important nervous system. Under the double buff, Daredevil's mutation was completed in just a few seconds. This mutation was completed without any signs. Daredevil felt that there were many humans within 10 meters around him. They were shivering in their homes, hiding in garbage cans on the roadside, and some were lying in the sewers and living with rats, and they didn't even dare to breathe. Smelling the delicious food, Daredevil didn't think it was dirty, but became extremely excited. He was hungry, and the terrible hunger made him irritable. But before Daredevil could fill the empty stomach, the zombie Spider-Man's neck was bitten off in the next second. Who said zombies won't attack each other? Heaven. My god. Daredevil is dead, and the second city hero was also killed by this disaster. Nova was completely frightened. Before he could gather half of his ultimate move, the zombie Spider-Man threw away the corpse in his hand and rushed over. The feast of death continued to bloom over the city like a flower. This is just the beginning. Nova died with her eyes open, but any infected person would have the same idea as him. Why can justice and evil switch so quickly? Friendly Neighbor Spider-Man. This is a title known to all New Yorkers. As the most popular superhero, Spider-Man is the most approachable one. He will pick up the garbage on the ground, help the bullied children, help the old lady cross the road, and help the citizens move. As long as someone needs help, and Spider-Man happens to pass by, just shout Spider-Man, and he will come to help you. And the zombie Spider-Man is not a low-level zombie without intelligence and thinking, but he can't control his hunger at all. Looking at the crazy zombie Spider-Man on the screen, Peter, Captain America, Tony and other Avengers in the Avengers building looked extremely ugly. As people who have been in contact with a group of Spider-Men for a long time, they are quite familiar with this group of Spider-Men. Hawkeye, Clint, Blade, Black Widow, Natasha, Dr. Banner. Like Captain America, they have fought side by side with Spider-Man and have a very high opinion of the group of Spider-Men. Their moral level is quite high, and a group of Spider-Men can be seen every day in the New York refugee camp. Such a person, after being infected with the zombie virus, actually Loki Odinson. It's really interesting. Loki Odinson, is this because of the change caused by the infection? Loki Odinson, or is it that the recklessness that was originally in my heart has been stimulated? The video continues on the other side. The zombie Captain America led a group of zombies to hunt and eat crazily. This continuous overeating made their hunger subside quickly. Many low-level zombies had their stomachs ruptured due to not controlling the amount of food they ate. At this time, they were shaky when they walked, and many intestines were exposed. After finishing eating, the zombie Captain America finally regained his sanity. After the crazy hunger trend was gone, he no longer vented the unrestrained irritability in his heart like he did at the beginning. He suddenly realized that he seemed to have some sense of mission that had not been completed. This was a memory from the body's muscles. Zombie Captain America felt that this was not appropriate, so he immediately stopped all the zombies who were eating. One zombie was still wolfing down his food without listening to the advice, and even tried to catch a man who escaped from the stairs. The next second, a huge fist hit his cheek, and his whole body, which exuded the stench of corpses, fell to the ground. This move immediately shocked the other zombies who were ready to move. The zombies recognized this guy who was similar to the leader. Stop. We are full. We can't give up the hope of curing the virus. Zombie Captain America ordered some of the Avengers around to stop hunting and asked them to follow him back to the base to discuss countermeasures. Naturally, some of the Avengers were dissatisfied. After all, they had reached this point and were not even human. If they still had to obey others, wouldn't they never be free? Especially the zombie Hawkeye. Although he temporarily became the captain of the zombie army, he had no say in the overall decision. Zombie Captain America always firmly controlled the specific direction of each member, and all the zombies he suppressed were a little breathless. Although this group of living dead didn't need to breathe at all. For these superpowered zombies with good IQs and independent thoughts, they had already thought about how to resist each other. not eating. After finding the antidote, will you save these stupid humans? As long as there is flesh, it will be infected. The speed of this kind of spread will only get faster and faster. This is already a destined result. Just enjoy your new identity. Those who are willing to enjoy the food with me can stay. Zombie Hawkeye stood on the pile of corpses and looked down at the zombie Captain America, his eyes full of provocation. And he still held the bow before the mutation in his hand. The bowstring had broken. This is his weapon, and the proof that he fought side by side with other Avengers. Do you have any objections? Ha ha ha. This is our hope. I will not allow anyone to hinder my steps. Zombie Captain America's dry face gave out a gloomy smile, and he keenly captured the information that the zombie Hawkeye's weapon could not be used. For him, it didn't matter whether the zombie Hawkeye had a bow and arrow. It was just the difference between a slap and running a few more steps and then a slap. The members of the Avengers only saw this body with uncontracted muscles appear in front of the zombie Hawkeye like a beast in an instant, and the opponent had no time to react. In the blink of an eye, the zombie Captain America jumped and punched the zombie Hawkeye's skull directly. Brains splattered everywhere. Zombie Hawkeye tried to stab the opponent with the arrows in the quiver behind him. His strength was also greatly improved with the infection. The reason why the bowstring broke was that it could no longer withstand the force when he pulled it to perfection. In the past, an arrow with a full bow could pierce more than 3 layers of alloy metal. Now, the zombie Hawkeye can stand on the horse and raise his hand to shoot down a flying plane in the sky. Even if the zombie Hawkeye simply holds the arrow in his hand to attack, the acceleration brought by the terrifying power makes the extremely sharp arrow have a super strong piercing effect. But the zombie Captain America's chest was intact at this time, and the opponent directly blocked it with a shield. Zombie Hawkeye can get a huge improvement. How can zombie Captain America not get an improvement? The effect of the super soldier serum is enhanced. A thin and asthmatic Steve Rogers can become a zombie Captain America who can tear a tank apart with his hands. How terrifying the zombie virus will become after being enhanced by the super soldier serum is unknown. Forgive me, my captain. Please let me go. Let my loyalty in the future make up for my previous stupidity. Tomorrow is National Day. I will update more and update the 5th volume by the way. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 924 Tragedy at X Academy. Zombie Hawkeye spoke these words in great pain, and his throat seemed to be broken, and could only make a humming sound. That is because when facing different degrees of infection, some muscles in the body will rot. This is a very strong corrosive force. It will appear in different positions, causing an extremely terrifying appearance. Zombie Captain America saw the miserable state of Zombie Hawkeye. It was as if he saw his current appearance, which was why he was so eager to find a cure. But for the zombie Hawkeye's pleas for mercy, the zombie Captain America turned a deaf ear and directly used the sharp edge of the shield to cut off his head. This is your punishment. After saying that, the zombie Captain America left with a group of zombies, leaving only the zombie Hawkeye who was unable to live or die. This thing, even if there is no hunger, will greatly change a person's personality, making the originally kind Captain become so cruel. Tony still knows Captain very well. Although he is not a good guy, he will never fight so hard against him, just because of a disagreement. And Hawkeye is not someone who will seize power, excluding the possibility that the Captain America and Hawkeye in that world are completely different from the people he knows. The only possibility is that the other party's mind has been completely changed by the zombie virus. After being infected by the zombie virus, you can see the other party as a complete monster. The video continues. New York City. In this bustling city, many lights gradually dim. The lingering humans began to learn to control their breathing through the experience shared by some people on the internet, and then hid in some relatively closed places or some very high buildings. This can prevent being captured and eaten by the zombies on the road. The surviving humans placed their hopes of survival on people with special abilities. Those superheroes. They thought that the city's superheroes would not remain indifferent to such a disaster and would definitely help them, just like before, saving them from this hell on earth. The superheroes came, but they were not as gentle as before, but drooling and looking at them with predatory eyes. Ordinary zombies can indeed be deceived by a breathing method of a specific frequency, or they cannot reach a very high building. But the superheroes are not here. This is why I always insist on supervising those with superpowers. When they do evil, the damage they cause is incomparable to ordinary people. Bruce said, "Why I also insist on being on guard against anyone is also because of this. No one can guarantee what your future will be like, even if you have super self-control, even if you really won't do evil. Who can guarantee that you are still you?" Bruce's words were rarely recognized by everyone. Peter once thought that Bruce's mentality of being on guard against everything was a bit too much, but now he sees another possibility. That is, someone uses the power of superheroes to do evil. Superheroes are controlled. Just like the zombie virus, Peter doesn't know whether the zombie virus kills them and creates a new personality or releases the darkest side of the original personality. But he knows that ordinary people can't resist superheroes like Spider-Man and Daredevil. Bruce once said that he would find a way to get kryptonite to prevent Clark from becoming evil in the future. Although Peter doesn't think Superman will be bitten by zombies, no one can guarantee that the zombie virus will not evolve to pass through the air, water, or even more metaphysical. Just like the curse in The Grudge, as long as you see it, you will be infected. If that's the case, a zombie Superman. Even Peter shuddered. Assuming that the zombie Superman is really born, then the kryptonite prepared by Bruce may be the only means to fight against the zombie Superman. Besides, the Gortys cells can infect Maximum. Maybe the alien beast cells can also infect themselves after fusing with the Gortys cells. Just as Peter was thinking, Logan suddenly found the blind spot. "Logan, isn't this our school?" Exclamation mark. The video continues. X Academy. Just 2 hours ago, Professor X was correcting homework in his office. Professor X frowned as he finished today's mental torture. He lamented that he would lose another 10 years of his life and thought that the weather was good today, so he could go to the cafeteria early to taste today's special dishes. Then there were no classes in the afternoon, so he could drink afternoon tea comfortably, slow down his brain, and extend his life. As soon as he pushed his wheelchair out, he met Wolverine, Colossus and other members. Without exception, their faces were filled with panic and anxiety. Everyone's expression seemed to tell the spread of fear and the arrival of disaster, especially for the familiar people, the sacrifices and infections they suffered. Looking at a group of X-Men, Professor X realized the seriousness of the matter. With a thought, he directly read everyone's inner thoughts. The cause of the incident was because a student in the academy ordered a hamburger from outside in the morning and took it to the library to eat because the test was about to start and he didn't want to fail. But he suddenly had difficulty breathing, and then he became extremely irritable and emotionally unstable, showing signs of attacking anyone who appeared. Then he bit some members who didn't notice what was happening, and soon the people he bit turned into bloodthirsty beasts. The skin of all the injured began to ulcerate on a large scale, and then the muscles separated and showed the lines inside. It was just like the human body display pictures taken in the laboratory class. Then, the mutant saber-toothed tiger, who had also turned into a zombie, broke into the academy. The saber-toothed tiger is a veteran fighter of the Brotherhood of Mutants. He is extremely powerful, proficient in various killing and fighting skills, and has a super self-healing ability. Such a killing machine faced a group of ignorant students, causing large-scale deaths and infections in just a few minutes. Luckily, the members of the X-Men arrived quickly, and Sabretooth was unable to scratch Colossus' skin that was far stronger than steel. Iceman released ice to control Sabretooth, and then Colossus successfully tied the opponent to the statue in front of the teaching building with an iron chain. I don't know what that bastard has been through, but it's much more serious than I expected. Wolverine said, "Sabretooth has gone completely crazy, even worse than when we were in the army. He is now a killing machine without any emotions, and the children who were killed have also mutated one after another. It's okay, kids, the situation is not too bad. As long as we work together, we can definitely solve this sudden catastrophe." Professor X commanded in an orderly manner. Now turn on the first level alert. Block the entire academy and don't let any zombies go. Send out the members of the elite mutant class. Colossus, you will lead the team. Select those with strong defense and fire ability, and be sure to burn the zombies and corpses, and burn every inch of the virus in the air. All the remaining surviving mutant students should be arranged to a safe place, waiting for me to mobilize the bulletproof bus to pick them up. Charles looked at the old, wheelchair-riding, and bald self on the screen with a complicated expression. He had seen this image of himself once before, and he was now mainly feeling disappointed about the actions of his good friend. Eric, please don't be so paranoid. I really don't want to erase your will. Chapter 925, Professor X's speculation. The video continues after all of us who are not infected leave. We will use the explosives inside to destroy everything here. Because according to your description, the saber-toothed tiger still retains its previous memories and wisdom after being infected, but it is obsessed with treating its own kind as food, so there must be more dangers outside. When we evacuate to the safe base, we must prevent these intelligent high-level mutant zombies from tracking us, and we must not let them escape. Once they escape, the damage they cause is unpredictable. Professor X promptly went through the emergency plan stored in his brain. But when he finished speaking, he observed the faces of Wolverine and others who were full of worry, hesitation, and speculation. Professor X then made a rough observation through telepathy again. The X-Men and others immediately felt a gentle mental fluctuation lingering around them, and everyone's face immediately returned to a calm state. However, the faces of some people with strong mental resistance became extremely ugly, especially the Phoenix girl, Jane Grey. Phoenix Jane's lips seemed to be bitten, and her hands tightly grasped her clothes, vaguely wanting to retreat. He looked at the end of the corridor, where he could break out of the window at the entrance of the corridor. Professor X understood it, and suddenly a red light appeared in his cloudy eyes. Phoenix Jane was instantly controlled. Wolverine found that something was wrong and quickly moved to the side, and the X-Men and others did the same. Phoenix Jane slowly came to Professor X, and her expression was extremely dull. What's wrong with the professor? Why did he suddenly use telepathy on some of us? This hasn't happened for a long time. Yeah, doesn't he trust us? I think he must have discovered something wrong. Otherwise, the professor wouldn't have suddenly behaved like this. But Phoenix is the one who dealt with the most zombies just now. She made an invaluable contribution this time. If she can just control other people's minds and spy on their secrets like this, isn't it a bit unfair? Or it might make us feel chilled. Yeah, is the professor getting senile? He hasn't cared about what's happening in the academy recently. Could he have amnesia? Professor, even if we stopped a wave of major zombie attacks, there are still many powerful ones. Especially after the mutants are infected, their abilities are greatly enhanced. Even some of Wolverine's steel claws are difficult to pierce. Yeah, Professor. If it weren't for Jane, we'd still be surrounded by zombies. Professor X didn't pay attention to the other members, but instead looked at the Phoenix girl with a complicated expression. He stretched out his old hand and said slowly, "Put your hand out and put it on my palm. Or, take the initiative to tell me where you were hurt when you were clearing the zombies, and where you were infected with the virus and kept festering." When the Phoenix girl heard this, she took off her coat and pulled off her necklace. She just tore the dress off her back with her hands. The X-Men exclaimed. Then, there was an unbelievable sound. Because there were countless bite marks on the back of the Phoenix girl, and there was a green disgusting juice, and bursts of stench came from somewhere. Jane's originally smooth skin was drying and rotting at a speed visible to the naked eye. The reason why no one noticed it before was because Jane had been using her Phoenix power to purify and suppress it. Layers of Phoenix flames covered the skin, and this kind of pain was not something that ordinary people could bear. Oh my god, what is going on? Is God playing a joke on us? Professor X's most proud student has been infected. Phoenix is a very strong fighter in our team. It is difficult for anyone to fight against the opponent when it is strong, not to mention that the zombie infection will greatly enhance the previous ability. Professor, what should we do? Let's inject a large dose of anesthetic first. The opponent also has psychological perception. If it is suddenly broken, it will be troublesome. The opponent will definitely want to kill us. Logan just reminded us that everyone said that there was something wrong with Phoenix and told us not to get close. I don't know if there is a cure in the outside world, but after I dissected the zombie's brain, I found that this desperate fight has transformed the infected person's brain into the state of another species, which is a kind of genetic change. Does this mean that there is no way to reverse it? Once infected, you can only accept your fate or be killed by your teammates. Professor X was calm on the surface, but his palms tightly grasped the wheelchair. Phoenix, Professor X prefers to call her Jane. When she was a 10-year-old girl, she enrolled in the X Academy. At that time, Jane was just an ordinary psychic. Professor X, who was also a psychic, knew the power and danger of a psychic, so he decisively accepted Jane, who was still a girl, as his disciple. Many years passed, and Jane's status in Professor X's heart became higher and higher. But Phoenix knew that she was infected, but she deliberately didn't say it, which brought huge hidden dangers to everyone. This behavior violated the philosophy of the X-Men and the rules of the Academy. But his most proud student had too many emotions with him. The conflict between humans and mutants can be resolved, no matter how long this disaster will last, and who among you will become such a monster. Don't forget the idea that exists in our hearts. In troubled times, there will inevitably be great opportunities. Protecting humans will make us mutants respected. After the crisis is resolved, we will be able to live freely in human cities. I have very strong psychological induction and control abilities. If I want, I can wipe out all humans in the world a long time ago. I can also change the consciousness of all mutants. I'm full of hope for the relationship between humans and mutants, but Magneto, it seems that he has never stopped thinking about increasing the living space of mutants and eliminating the powerful humans. Professor X has an extremely sharp mind. He is one of the people with the highest IQ in the world. He stores a lot of information in his mind, which can be extracted immediately if he wants. So, when he controlled Phoenix Girl and learned about the infection from her brain, Magneto gradually emerged in his mind. This zombie crisis must be driven by someone. It can't just appear out of thin air. So if someone is driving it, the 5th volume has been updated, but there are not many manuscripts left for the 7th volume. So, well, let's just leave it like this. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.